Well, there goes. Oh, everybody smile. The Daverhood. See, you have to put it on a flat surface. Burhood. Did I say Burhood?
David, have you seen my teeth? David, I lost my teeth.
Oh, here are your choppers, babe.
Oh, and I got my teeth.
Look at that. Look at that. This is quality comedy, circa 1912. But oh my God, I love it.
Here.
This is the classic. It doesn't get better, ladies and gentlemen, than chattering teeth.
Is it chattering?
Yeah, like when you can't help it, you're like in the cold, and it's like. Is there anything? Let's see. Made in China, of course, for Archie McPhee. This Archie McPhee makes a lot of
joke.
Yeah. See?
It just says wind up chattering teeth, and it has a picture. Look at this one.
Oh, it's got the actual teeth of teeth. Yeah, that's very nice.
Like this.
Look at that. Look at that.
You can put it like your hand.
And see, it has a little space where you can see the teeth underneath when you're actually thinking of purchasing them. Well, that's what she said. But, ho, chattering teeth.
I love that shirt.
What a way, thank you. What a way to begin. What's wrong with my sleeves? Already? I haven't even worn this thing and my sleeves are all sickniged. Do them nice.
Probably undo it too. Here, let me do the other one.
Do my other sleeve there. This dear is Joyce, my darling and adorable wife.
More handsomer.
I'm Dave Lefkowitz, and this.
Don't you feel more comfortable like that?
Oh, totally.
You don't have to turn it up. That's what the.
Turn it up.
It's nice like that. You look pretty.
Well, thank you. Yes, and
What color do they photograph? Do they photograph brown or tan or orange the flowers?
We're gonna find out in like 3 hours.
Oh, 3, yeah.
Yeah, looks nice, huh? But that's the thing. I don't really get much when we go shopping. But I always look for shirts, long sleeve or short sleeve shirt. That's my jam. I'm like, you go looking for what you go looking for. I'm just gonna poke through the men's department, and if it's under like $15 and I like it, I'm gonna get more shirts than I will ever wear in my life. Except I end up wearing them.
You've worn them all.
Yeah, no, I
match Oscar.
See, look at this. Look at this. Oscar and I and our mutual friend Melvin G. Mintz are in matching sort of outfits today.
Why is Oscar holding a picture of himself? Is that to remind him who he is?
And Oscar, he's old enough at this point. He's got dementia.
He's a baby, though. He's baby Oscar.
Well, isn't dementia when you're reverting back to babyhood?
No, not at all.
Says the gerontologist. No. Well, actually, no. You have to be, sometimes bathed, taken care of, fed.
Yeah, but you get that now.
That's true. People talk to you like, okay, I'm so and so. This is,
That's because people are stupid.
You're in the home.
Did you tell people what's on the show?
Not yet. No, I just.
Where's my drums?
Oh my God! I think they're in the drawer there. What is that? I think it's a closet. That's what that is. I'm the one who's getting dementia. Teeth. Hours. Oh, fun. Not of fun, but hours. Oh, fun. With the chattering teeth here on Dave's Gone By. I'm not chattering. I'm smiling because we got a fun show for you today.
I like the way you did the numbers. It matches your shirt.
Yeah, kind of a fun way to do the numbers here. For episode 907 of the show, which mixes humor and talk and interviews and culture and all sorts of weird stuff. And we've been doing it every week, virtually, like every week, and it is virtual now, in the Daverhood since 2002. So come October, we'll be embarking on our 21st season.
Wow.
We're only like 2 more months away.
When do you hit
1,000?
Or 950? When did you? I can't.
950. I'm figuring just over a year from now, because I'm not going to be able to do once I start teaching and stuff. It's not going to be particularly easy for me to do a show every single week. So the fall's going to be crazy.
No quiz?
Well, what? Well, sometimes I can do the show without the quiz, and sometimes it's just going to be a little much to even grade all the papers I have to grade and get ready for the week ahead without having to plan and do a show and take 3 hours out on a Saturday. So I'm figuring 950 will hit sometime in 24. And then if I make if I make 1,000, it'll be late 25, early 26. I haven't really done the math, but something like that.
Yeah, you have a sense of it.
Yeah. But, I don't want to get ahead of myself. As I think of the people a week ago, right, in Hawaii.
Oh my God.
Living their best life.
I can't believe it. Like, I still don't know. I'm going to look what started the fires there.
They're saying it downed either power line in overgrown brush or just one of the, fires happen. It's hot. It's getting hotter. In the universe, I mean. And just, God looks at a bunch of people who are living very nicely and have houses and lives and says, I think I'll kill some.
Dry conditions due to Hurricane Dora.
When was Hurricane Dora?
I don't know. It says, Dora, a low pressure system.
Well, she was an explorer, so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Everything you need to know about the fires. I'm going to look.
Yeah, well, listen, everything we need to know is how did they start and how many dead. Sure, and they're out. Apparently, they're finally out.
In the harbor to get out of the Hurricane Dora, Category 4.
Mm-hmm.
Town of Lahaina? I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Residential tourist town. Wow.
Not anymore.
No. It's in Maui. I don't know.
Yeah, Maui, a part of, not the whole island, thank goodness, but a big part of Maui just burned to the ground.
I don't understand.
As these places do when they have these fires like this. What was it? It wasn't Puerto Rico. Where did they have that incredible fire? Because Puerto Rico had something else.
They had Hurricane Maria. They had a couple, I think, not Ivan, I forget the other name.
But there was this thing where literally it looked like Hiroshima. It was a town, it was a city or a town or a suburb. And then you looked at it a week later, and it was just gray. It was ash.
I don't know. They have NASA maps of it.
Yeah. But, how many times have I said on this program, okay, and we've all said, they can put a man on the moon. They can put William Shatner near the moon.
I understand this photo of fire.
Yeah.
But then what's the photo of children doing rock climbing?
They're getting away from the fires. No, but they can do X, Y, and Z, but they can't figure out a way to bring water to a raging fire. Right? They can literally spend millions and millions and millions of dollars to do, put a little bit of garbage up in space. But they can't figure out a way to have helicopters ready, or whatever you'll need, or just hoses and pumps.
Oh, they said Biden authorized Blackhawks to drop water.
See, little birds, how much water can they carry?
No, the Blackhawks.
Maybe eagles and crows, but Blackhawks.
Is
it's a chopper.
Yeah.
But first of all, hello, where were they 4 days ago?
I don't understand any of that.
Or better yet, where is the wherewithal to take a town that is, hasn't maybe had rain for 3-4 weeks, is in the blazing 80, 90, 100-degree sun, right? And before any fires start, get rain down water or foam or something on the town. Because it's non-toxic, everybody stay indoors, but we're just going to coat everything with a layer of moistness so that if a fire starts...
I don't know if that stops it. Fires burn through everything.
I know, and I don't know why.
I don't understand it.
But this idea that, there's fires in Canada and some are intentional and then they're no longer intentional. And you don't have... In 2023, the ability to say, whoa, big fire spreading. Dum da da dum dum da 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 dum. Let's pipe. Let's run. Let's drop.
I don't know, like you're saying. I don't think they have I don't know if they have indicators that sense things and say, oh, there's a fire, and big fire, I don't know how is it reported. I don't think
we have satellite cameras that can catch me picking my nose at a stoplight.
But do they check for that?
They can, that satellite should be able to smoke, and it's not like somebody's chimney. That's 30 people's chimneys. let's get fire engines down. Or the problem with Canada is that these places were really remote and for forestry. They don't have roads.
Hawaii was a tourist town.
Hawaii is different. Hawaii is like, hello, this is houses, people living there and dying there.
They said since 1700s it was a tourist town.
Everywhere is Hawaii. Yeah. Hawaii is where Joyce and I spent our honeymoon 25 years ago. But it was Honolulu. Now, Honolulu is not Big Island. Big Island is something else. I think. What island were we on?
I don't know. I'm going to look up.
Where's Honolulu?
Yeah. I don't know, David. I'm an idiot with geography.
Yeah, I know nothing.
Map of the islands of Hawaii.
Because, people say, were you on a big island? I was like, yeah, it was a big island. We went around on a trolley.
I don't know. Oh, here.
Yeah, okay, so this is, oh my goodness. Here's Hawaii. Which again, there's so much water everywhere.
Yeah.
You would figure.
Well, they could get, if everybody got scoopers and start scooping, but maybe that town is not near the water.
Well, every town is near the water. Look, this is Hawaii. The little dots surrounded by billions of gallons of water. So there's Big Island, which has Kailua, which is volcanic this, and Hilo, but we weren't there. Where the hell were we?
Hawaii.
Well, Maui is, okay, there's Maui, there's Lanai, there's Molokai. Were we on Oahu? Yes, we were on Oahu.
Oh.
That was the island we were on, where Hawaii and Pearl Harbor were.
Look at you. You're very smart.
Well, you got the map up.
Yeah, but I don't know how to use it.
But anyway, that's where we were. And I'm sure I talked about the honeymoon stuff, including the hot sexual parts. But we did go to Pearl Harbor, and we did take trolleys, and we did see palm trees. And it was kind of boring after a while. It's, Aruba too. Everybody wants to go to paradise. And beach, sand, water, heat, warmth, and people like us were like, that's really great for about 4 days. And then by the 5th day, I'm like, get me, help!
You didn't want to be on the bus. You hated Nike Town, yeah.
Now, understand this is in the era before you could take a cell phone and pull it out anywhere when you're waiting for something. And something get involved, and if you're on a line for 40 minutes, I'm like Disneyland. I went to Disneyland with, when I was in California for my play all those years ago. We went to Disney World together.
Yeah.
In the days, by the time we hit Disney World, I think we had cell phones, but you couldn't do anything on them.
I don't think we went to Disney World.
Of course, we were in Orlando together in Florida. We love it, Epcot.
I got felt up by Chip and Dale.
And me, I'm just like, this is Schleppcott. What am I doing? This is, and you wait for, I didn't want to go on roller coasters. You didn't either. I don't hate that. I hate that. Nice teacup ride. Okay. Go special, this place is like Belgium. Fine. Yeah. But waiting and standing and then just it's so hot, so you want to sit. And, now you open it up. Oh, what's my email? What's going on?
What they do now is they probably tell you, scan a QR code, and then they'll tell you the time it's your turn for the ride. So let's say,
that's clever.
I'm sure they do. They have everything electronic. One of them I saw that someone told me they give you a bracelet, and it tells you when it's time for things.
Brilliant, but still, you can't go too far from where you are. So if they tell you 20 minutes, you're still just okay. Let's sort of walk in a circle for time. I won't go too far.
Do shopping.
And miss my that's what it's really all about. But had no use for it, had no desire for it, as opposed to, and not that I really miss New York, I don't. But you're bored in, what you do in New York for 2 weeks, you haven't even touched the friggin' surface, or probably Berlin is like that.
Depends what people want to do. Probably Hawaii, they just go on the beach. They're beach people. People want to just be on the beach.
And maybe at my age, that would be more me if it was like October.
Yeah.
And I wasn't going to get burned to a raisin.
Yeah.
Standing out there and beaching. I don't know. So I'm on the beach. What the hell? I'm going to look at the ocean. It's beautiful.
Different ideas of fun,
Yeah. No, it's like we have a house now. We've had houses in the past, but we're in a house in a very nice part of northern Maryland, and it's like this nice thing. I want to go out very often to have lunch or dinner on like the little deck facing our backyard because we got flowers, beautiful, and to sit there and eat and talk for 20 minutes, half an hour.
In the fall, it's good. Come September, it'll be perfect.
But could I sit there doing nothing for 45 minutes? I think I would go mad. I would have to be like, oh, I'm going to bring my laptop out here and work. That's different.
Everybody's different. Everybody has a different idea of what's, entertainment or what.
Sex and torture. Those are mine.
No, but some people are very good. Just depending. Like some people like, just hiking or swimming or kayaking. Other people like writing or.
But those are activities already. I mean, so yeah, we can go kayaking. If we were kayak people, I remember one time we went with our late friends who took us on a boat. Like a little, it wasn't, we were probably in Pennsylvania or we were in New York. Small boat, small like speed boat on the water, right? And, fun. I love water.
Yeah, I loved it. Yeah.
You loved it.
I loved the speed.
As soon as he went 1 mile over my comfort zone,
you were like,
slow down! What are you nuts? I'm like, wearing finger marks into the wood. Were there other passengers? I don't remember because it was very nice. We were going out into the water. I've been on boats, but suddenly it's like, oh, it's a speedboat. I'm like, help!
Yeah, you were having
I was not having a good time.
You made a little wee-wee too, didn't you?
Who would know? I was probably wet from the water splashing into the boat when we were speeding along.
It wasn't the Titanic. It was.
It could have been. God forbid. It might have been, but it wasn't. It was fine. And everybody else had a wonderful time, and I'm like, getting off the boat like with my legs shaking and wobbling. I'm like, never do that again.
You were consoled by the buffet. You were like, foodie.
I'm always consoled by the buffet. I certainly am. Oh my goodness, buffet and buff B.
Do you think that we both always liked food, or that because we've been together so long, it's become like a mutual interest?
That's really interesting.
The difference, right? Like sometimes people are like unique, and then they have unique interests, but then when they break in,
well, this will shock you. I probably will shock you. When I was a child, I was not an eater. I probably had some sort of eating disorder, and I would not eat or leave stuff over. And my mom actually brought me to the doctor to give me a pill to boost my appetite.
Oh, like Murray.
And I was skinny.
Like Murray, remember we gave him the thing to make him eat.
Yeah.
Did it work?
I don't know. I mean, I guess I became more normative and just started eating more and differently. And by the time I was in junior high school, I was still thin, but I was like, ooh, I like food.
In junior high school, it's always like I remember, this was high school. It was like those flat pizzas, like Stouffer's pizza.
Oh, no, I still didn't eat from the cafeteria. I ate whatever packed from, I think.
I don't know,
I honestly don't recall if I was doing the cafeteria food thing I think by high school I was.
Yeah, I think you did.
But maybe when I don't. God,
a baby.
I don't recall. But it was. But the food thing and getting the middle-aged man tummy, which I have now, and which I was able to avoid up until like my early 40s.
Probably mid-50s.
Well, yeah. I look back on pictures of myself about 10 years ago, and I already had this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it's not like I'm eating so much more or so much worse than I did 10 or 15 years ago.
When you get older, their distribution of fat is different.
Where did it come from? Was my head smaller?
Yeah, I think so.
My armpits? Yes. I say, I had 3 pounds in my armpits. They're so skinny, the armpits, but now it's down here.
It's just where it is.
I just hope it's not like some tumor thing.
No.
It's like people who's like, I don't know, I eat better, I'm dieting, and it's still like tummy's growing.
You could get it checked.
I'm just somebody who's middle-aged man fat, the tummy thing. But I don't know. Again, I don't know why. I ate like not a horse, but I ate.
You know why the metabolism slows down with age? So it's normal. Yeah, it's normal.
Because I snack, but I don't snack the way I used to when I was in my 30s.
My friend she had 2 kids, right, 2 boys, and the fridge would be like, filled with stuff, and they would like go through it. Or we used to go to Panera, and they would have like all the stuff like 7 glasses of soda, like just consume. But now I'm sure they can. Right?
In my 20s, I was a hummingbird.
Yeah,
Yeah. But I still feel like I have a fast.
You have energy. You have a lot of stamina and energy, but your metabolism's slower.
But how can that work? If you have that, isn't that coming from your metabolism?
No, it's just your nature. Some people are high energy, or you're very high energy.
Yeah. As you know by watching this program, Dave's Gone By every Saturday from 9 until noon or thereabouts.
Show them your teeth chattering. They like that.
Oh, they do. Do you love it? Can I get some thumbs up for teeth?
You can put it on my phone. Here, use my phone as the floor. Use my phone as the floor.
Oh! If you don't mind, I'll use this side.
That's something you can mess up trying.
Okay, teeth, do your stuff.
Classic.
Conrad Poos and his dancing teeth. There we go.
You can rewind it, just not overwind it. You can do it again. Go ahead.
I wonder, would it be cool to try and make it chew food?
I don't think so. Ooh, that's a good one.
Nice, huh?
What was the joke? What was supposed to be the joke of it? Were you supposed to put it in a cup of water like false teeth, or what was the?
Oh, that's funny.
What is the when you have like the gum that tastes like caca or whatever, or you have like you open.
Please don't get me that.
No, or you open like something and it pops or something, or
or a
buzzer. Like what was the?
I mean, it's just kind of silly.
But like, what are you're supposed to like surprise someone? I mean, what's the?
I don't. Well, it's like a fake eyeball here and there. They make those too.
Let me ask.
What was the original purpose of the chattering teeth?
Ask the same thing.
I'm curious. I'm actually Dave, but
what's the original purpose of the gag gift, the chattering teeth? Dreidel Company. It says Goldfarb gave the wind-up teeth, commonly known as chattering teeth, brought them to toy legends Marvin Glass and Irving Fishlove.
Jews.
And Irving Fishlove introduced fake vomit to the rest of the world, and the rest is history.
Irving Figlove.
Fishlove, I'm sorry.
Even better. Irving Fishlove.
He introduced latex vomit. I'm sorry, not latex fake vomit to the world, and the rest is history.
It really is. It really is. Wow. And the thing about these are so delicate that when the distributor brings.
Frivolity.
And well, of course it is. When the distributor brings false teeth to the various stores that sell them, they can't do it by truck. They can't do it by train. Basically, they have to go by chopper. That's it. There you go. Oh, I think I overwound it. That's better. Anyway, let me tell you what's going on.
Stop it. You're like this when you talk.
Really? Let me tell you a bit about what's going to be on this episode of
I don't know
Dave's.
how you can talk with your teeth outside your mouth. That's great. You got a lot of talent. I was going to say, do you want this, but it's empty, I think.
It's almost empty. I got water here. I got my beloved gargle water. Maybe around the time when I bring Rabbi Sol in for the...
What time? Tell me the guest.
Well, here's the deal. In about 40 minutes or so, we're going to have our guest in the Daverhood. He is a cabaret performer of note and a veteran cabaret, to the point where he's got more than 20 years doing what he's doing. He's going to be celebrating that this week, August 15th, this Tuesday night, at 54 Below, the cabaret spot in Manhattan on
There's always something happening.
West 54. Yeah, well, you see the Birdland 54 Below, Don't Tell Mama sometimes. We cover, places like that, and sometimes Feinstein's, super high level. But actually, there's no more. 54 Below was Feinstein's. That's back to 54 Below, whatever.
What happened?
54 Below is pretty high up.
Sold it?
I think just cabaret is tough to begin with, and then with pandemic and then there is something with this Chelsea Table and Stage, which is a relatively recent new place, which is kind of rare in New York, which loses so many places. But the guy's name is Richard Holbrook. Richard Holbrook. We're actually calling this episode BROOK Review.
That's so cool. That's a cool name. What?
Was not expecting.
What?
I don't know if I there's a person I was trying to get on the show.
Yeah.
And never, this person's been doing an off Broadway show.
Yeah.
I don't know if this person is here to watch Richard Holbrook and is getting to the waiting room to watch him, or is expecting to be on the show, or if I accidentally booked her and forgot.
Where's your phone?
Don't go away, person.
Who are
I
they?
wonder if I can check this person in the waiting room.
You can.
Let me view.
Go to Zoom and just chat in the waiting room.
Because we actually have time. We have a half hour to do this if this
room.
person wants to
Do you
be
know how to do it?
on the show. I can I message her?
Message all in waiting room.
So sorry, folks. Talk amongst yourselves.
No, not there. You have to message. Click message. Oh, you did?
I did. That was a message.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry. Okay. She might think that's how you watch the show.
Yeah. And if so, I'll bring Rabbi Sol in kind of early.
Yeah.
Because this will be great. It'll be a duo, and we'll move Greeley Crimes Old Times to later.
Yeah.
Anyway, Richard Holbrook.
It's so
Definitely going to be on the program. Interesting.
So you think? Are you sure?
Well, he's for 10 o'clock talking to Rabbi Sol.
Sure
Yeah. And then
I'll look in your lunch.
we have our today, yesterday trivia quiz.
Check your email just in case.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Please. I don't think I checked it.
There's
Yes.
nothing new. Everything has been read.
Because I wanted this person on the program, and I'll mention this person as soon as I possibly can. Hold on.
Did they write back?
Not yet. So I don't know if they know that they can check chat or do that. So let me check my.
Or maybe they can't write back. I don't know. Why don't you just let them in real quick and see?
I guess I could. You know what? Don't go away, ladies
Or
and
just share screen to something else. Show another screen.
Yeah, and then it won't show. Well, you know what? Let me bring in the rabbi. I'll bring the rabbi out. Let me play some rabbi music. It's unexpected. It's. I mean, it would be great if this person would be available. So let's do it. This could go so long so quickly, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies, and welcome to all of you. I'm gonna try something here. Probably, I don't know if I should, but I'm going to. Ladies and gentlemen, we have someone in the waiting room here on the program Dave's Gone By. I'm Rabbi Sol Solomon, of course, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches. Oh, this person has their audio and their camera off. So let's see. So now hello, shalom. Shalom to you. Say something. Hello.
Hello.
Shalom to you. I am Rabbi Sol Solomon of blessed memory, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck. And I'm going to be delighted to be talking to a cabaret guy named Richard Holbrook in about half an hour. But it is so delightful and wonderful to see you. And forgive me, I did not recall that we were scheduled for a chat today. Were we?
Well, let me think about it for a moment. The answer is yes, but we can do it another time.
No, don't go away. This is going to be wonderful. This is going to be fantastic. I apologize. The person who produces this show is a complete idiot. So his name is Dave. I know him very well. And you know, sometimes things fall in the cracks. And then he has to go to a proctologist to get them out. But you are doing...
I can understand it's all behind you right now.
Ah!
Is that Joyce, your lovely, adorable wife?
Oh, you have been watching the show. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I would have had Dave announce you and whatever, but I can remind.
Shall I introduce myself?
Well, you're Nancy Redman. This we can tell people, and you have this one-woman show that keeps getting extended and extended. But please tell everybody about it while I make up some questions. Go.
Well, that was fast. You got where I am and who I am and what's happening.
But
Yes.
the name of the show again. Remind
The
everybody.
name of the show again. I'm glad you asked. It's I'm so nervous. But that's not so easy to do.
Make you nervous? Oh, please, I make everybody nervous. Yeah.
That's okay. A seance with mom.
With mom, that's it. A seance with mom.
A seance with mom.
Well, directed by our friend of the Daverhood, someone who has been on this program a couple of years ago, Austin Pendleton. Yay! Yay!
Yes, yay. Always brilliant, Austin Pendleton. And thrilled to be here with you. And this is exciting.
It is thrilling to me. But let me ask you, where is it playing?
That's a wonderful question. I'm glad you asked.
Okay, where?
At Chain Theater, 312 West 36th Street in Manhattan.
312 between 8th and 9th Avenue. The Chain Theater is where you can get tickets. Now, how much longer currently is it playing before it gets extended again?
Well, it will be August 21st through September 3rd.
Whoa!
18 performances, Rabbi.
Kai! You know this. Are you a Jewess? Are you? You mind?
I am indeed. I was bas mitzvah. This is giving me extraordinary memories.
What do you remember about your bat mitzvah, Nancy Redman?
Well, it was a lot of gelt.
Well, we all felt guilty most of the time. No, but so they gave you.
What do I remember? What was your question? And then I'll answer.
Did you have a big party? Was it just in the shul? Did you go to Israel? Or what was your like?
It was a lovely party afterwards, but the very exciting thing was reading it in Hebrew and in English, the Shema, for our friends, Jewish and Gentile. It's a wonderful prayer that's said many times during the day. But it was very exciting. I loved Hebrew school, and that's about it.
You love Hebrew school. I never hear that. People endure Hebrew school. They survive Hebrew school. They take a racer. They don't survive Hebrew, but you loved, you enjoy. Oh, that's so nice. So, what part does Judaism play, if any, in your life at the moment?
Well, it's in my play, but yet it's for everyone of all races, religions, of all nationalities. But there is a wonderful, I think you come the first night, come opening night. I want to see you, Rabbi, there.
Wait. How can it be an opening night? This has been running for weeks already.
Well, it's a re-extension, so it's another open. There's always an opening night.
I love it. Thank you. I'm going to thank you, by the way, for the invitation. That is most tremendously kind of you. So being Jewish, I do not believe personally in seances and things like this.
Yes, that's true.
What is your play about?
Well, I have wanted to get in touch with my mother for quite a while, and I have been praying, and lo and behold, it happens. There is a kind of a rumpled, disorganized rabbi that does show up.
So this is not based on a real thing where you went to seance and actually, quote unquote, met your mom. Is that you? Here, give me $50, says the woman with the glass ball. You're making all this up. This is just a show. Yes?
No. It is a show, but I am an observer of what's happening. There are characters there. I am watching the characters. They are in their own lives. Yes. It's through my imagination.
Okay, God, all right, good. Because so many one-person shows are, you'll never believe what happened. I survived, bringing drugs across Mexico. I did this, or you're like, let's talk about. So you're not even you in the show. You are a character.
There are 6 characters, right? You're correct, and I did survive coming through Mexico with drugs. However,
I can tell. Yeah.
but no, there are different characters, about 6, but there are some main ones, and then there are others that come and go at different times. But the situation is, it's wonderful to see them and on their journey. that's what's exciting about one-woman shows. This is my fifth. Yeah, it's been wonderful. It's when I have one more that no one has seen, and perhaps I'll just show it to you and Joyce.
We have the time, and I don't have any questions, so you might as well start doing it. Give us the first 5 minutes. We'll see if we want to see the rest. We'll do the rest on pay-per-view. It's like, oh, if you like the first 5, come on, watch one. No, so what is this new show? Is it a new show or an older one that just hasn't been?
Well, this is a totally new show. Now, the thrilling thing is 18 performances have been done already between April. It was 4 in April, and then another 14th in May, which went into June 4th. Now I have another 18.
Right, good.
Yes.
No, but we were talking about the new show that hasn't been seen yet, or is this? Or you're talking about?
I'll let that stay hidden. There is a new show which I'll come back to speak to you about when we'll prepare another interview.
I'll prepare my first one, and you'll be prepared for your second. That'd be good. But okay, so and yes, Mazel Tov on this being done in the Chain Theater. It's right in the heart of Manhattan. You can't miss it. What was it like working with the indefatigable? I can't believe I was able to get that word out. Austin Penley. Either he's acting in something on, off Broadway. He's directing. He's just this polymath person. What was it like working with him?
Always brilliant. Always exciting. I love what I learn. He is a mentor, a friend. And I'm always fascinated by whatever problem I have. He has an answer for the situation based on all his experiences in theater, of course, as a theater icon, and film. So it's been wonderful. I'll give you an example. My spiritual people from the other side show up.
I'm drinking spirits from this. I'm telling you right now. I was like,
well done. It is connected. The alcohol, and yeah, that's why we're looking for a higher power.
Well, maybe you are. I found them long ago. I had no use for him. But please continue. So Austin tells you.
I'm glad you shared that information. I like to find out about you, Rabbi.
No, you really don't.
I don't want to know about you.
I don't want to know anything about me. It's all bad. But no, so Austin Pendleton gave you some stellar advice or did something in the stage.
Well, on every show I've worked with him. This is it's actually the 5th show we worked together with. But and I've been very blessed to do that with very exciting accolades. I won't go into it. I'll let you go into it next time.
When you bring in the show you're not going to talk about now.
That's right. I'm not going to talk about it now. And then in that interview that we haven't done yet, you can research me and find out all the things that we haven't said this time.
Right, exactly.
Which will work out next time. So maybe we'll make sure that we'll be together. In fact, we can meet and have coffee sometime.
How do if you'll pick up the check, absolutely. So, but you still haven't.
Back to where I was talking about, Austin. Yeah, you're following. That's great. You're a good follower. You're a good therapist. So back to Austin.
Yes, back to Austin, specifically doing something you wanted to, an anecdote.
About the spirits. The spirits from the other world come and go. Mm-hmm. There are times they come and go because there is I love the expression, a hapless rabbi, a rabbi that is trying to do his work and makes some mistakes. He's bumbling. So I'm
just rolling. Yeah, okay.
And so there are spirits that come to me from the other world. And as they come, I said to Austin, as we were rehearsing, I said, do I need like some sound effect? Do I need some lighting change? Or some sound effect that would indicate that this is from the other world. And he said, well, and he said, what do you mean, like what? And I said, well, like something like, and he said, that. And I said, you mean something like that? And he said, no, that. I said, what do you mean that? He said, that's lovely. I said, he said, yes. He said, it's funny.
Make the noise yourself and just go.
Right. Now that's a wonderful example, I think, about simplicity and keeping the play in the form of a play, not necessarily needing anything but the story. The gestures are the most important, and that's what he explained to me. Gestures are important, and that continues with all.
I was driving the other day. This guy cut me off. I gave him a gesture. If I tell you, it almost killed me. But it was the right gesture at the right. I didn't need a sound effect, although I shouted. honks. But no, you didn't need that. You just saw this. I was like, aha, gesture.
You handed it to him. That's your point.
Yes, yes.
You did
I
well.
think my feeling. I did. It's all it took. A quiet little moment of gesture.
That's
Now,
all.
you said you how long have you been doing one person? You're a woman. I can call you one woman shows.
You can call me a woman. You can call me a lady. You can call me a gal. You can call me a girl. You can call me Nancy. You can call me, well, not Nadine. That's my character in the play.
Okay.
You don't have to call me Nadine. She is another person. But yes, thank you for calling me a woman. It's lovely.
Yeah, you are a lovely woman. No, but nowadays, it's no more one man show, no more one woman show. It's a one they show. It's a one thing show. Thing is up there doing something about cutting their boobs off and becoming another kind of genetic thing. Yes.
By the way, I had a lovely review where it said that there were hilarious and surprising moments throughout. A lovely review. I'll send it to you for the next interview. However, no need for me to pursue this. However, I love the way this lovely reviewer, Cynthia Darling from Thinking Theater, said. What she said was, besides the humor that is surprising and throughout the play, there are serious moments. And yes, there are. No, I don't cut my breasts off or I don't get drugs in from Mexico, but there are some very serious moments, Rabbi. And it's been more than a joy connecting with people. In fact, I've had connecting with people, of course, there could be some animals, some zebras or a possum in the audience, but I don't think so lately.
No, it's just playing possum, at least when I do my shows. No, this is playing possum. I love the show. Yeah.
There's a 2 possum minimum, actually. However,
no, that's impossible.
That is impossible to say.
Impossible.
And yeah, no, I got it. It was wonderful. You're wonderful. You're wonderful. I grew up with comedy, and here I am with a very funny rabbi. So
I'm going to stop you there. What do you mean you grew up with comedy? Talk to me. What do you mean?
Well, where was I speaking? Oh, well, that's okay. We'll go with you now.
Yeah,
my mother was wonderful. She was hysterically funny. And I was blessed. I was blessed with a woman that was naturally a comedian, a natural comedian. Wherever she went, people said, "You're a comedian." She would go, no. My daughter is a professional comedian. Yeah, this went on throughout our lives, which was, of course, when I was younger, she didn't know I was a professional comedian. Then I was an actress. I went into performing arts high school. I wanted to be an actress, a writer, a singer, a teacher. I've accomplished some of those, I may say, with some humility. But however.
What would be your most known, if you will, credit as an actress?
Appearing with Rabbi Sol Solomon.
Well, you weren't in my show, Shalom Dammit, An Evening with Me. That was my only stage performance besides this stupid podcasting. No,
I mean, this moment with you is my most important credit. And that's what's happening when you're in the now, in the moment, in the present.
That's right. And with all the theaters closing, basically, this is the only opportunity you can get.
That's right. In fact, I'll be here every week. I'll be surprising you. I'll be in the waiting room and you'll say, who the hell is the same person? It's Nancy Redman. Because there's no theater for me to go to except for chain theater, which is wonderful theater.
Oh my.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know we're bouncing all over the place, but I do have to ask: is this a thing where you rent the chain and then people come? Is that how it works? Is it one of those things where it's X $100 per night, and
it is X $100 per night?
You get the tank.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rabbi.
Oh, please, no. How is it? What is the model here? Because it's not like the chain is a regional or an off-Broadway theater that produces.
You know what? It is one of the loveliest, most intimate theater. It seats 30. If it has to be, they'll bring out 10 more chairs. So.
No, hey, believe me, 30 people who are into the show is better than a room of 100 chairs with 40 people who don't give a crap. You know,
all I need is my 30 filled or 40, and intimate, wonderful, lovely people that run it. And it is rented, yes, but it's a wonderful, intimate space. Just what I needed.
And right now, it's just running through September 3rd.
No, close. That's the last day. It's
running through. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
running through, you're right. There was my hearing, a little hearing loss.
Oh, yeah, me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
All I hear in this is Shlomo Carlebach. It's just 24/7. The radio signal implanted, and now I can't get it. But you know, I know. Anyway, it doesn't make any sense.
It made a lot of sense to me. You got connected through another radio, and I hope I'm on that radio with you. But in reference to what we just said, yes, August 21st through September 3rd, in those 2 weeks, I will be doing 18 performances, which I'm thrilled about. I have created.
That's kind of like what I was doing, and I don't mean always talk about me, but of course I always
Please
talk
do,
about me.
please do.
Well, I did Shalom Dammit at one point. I tried doing 9 performances. It almost killed me. But that means we're doing 9 shows per week just to maximize the, is that true?
Yeah, 12 evenings at 7 p.m. and 6 matinees at 3 p.m. And I expect you to be at most of them.
Oh, absolutely, with bells on.
So I'll be able to hear you.
So much noise. The other members
bells on is fine. Sitting there, I'll know it's you. But in any event,
but besides me,
yes, besides you, what some of my
like your before you started doing the one person, one woman shows? What was like what your biggest regional or off Broadway or Broadway? What was like when you put on your resume? Oh, I did this.
No, I get what you're saying. It was a great question. By the way, it was a great question. I toured with Soupy Sales as a stand-up comic. I did for 4 years. I toured with Chubby Checker, the twist.
I know who he is. Soupy Sales, I get.
You get. So I was the host and MC and performed comedy a very long time at Dangerfields in New York City. Perhaps you were there and you saw me. And I'm back with you.
Okay.
So
stop. Every time I have to stop you because it's like, tell me a Soupy Sales story.
I love the way he told me to introduce him. I would open for him 4 years. He would say, just all you need to say, Nancy, is direct from the dressing room.
That's good. That's
yeah.
And was he nice? Was he,
he was wonderful. He was wonderful. I just been very, very lucky. It's amazing to do a gig in New Jersey where I was told I would open for Soupy Sales. And when he saw me, he said, let's work together. So that was great. And so we went to Detroit. We went to what's now Detroit, right? Detroit, where, as a matter of fact, he became legendary in the early days.
Oh, that was where his television show came from?
That's where it started. That's where it started. Yeah. We were in Huntington, West Virginia, where he grew up. He's from, all this is coming back to me. Franklinton, North Carolina. I think he was one of the few Jews there, Southern Jews. But in any event, he grew up in West Virginia, and the West Virginia Plaza became the Soupy Sales Plaza. And I was there a few years with him. And it was an audience outside full of children, which was wonderful to do a show that's for children as well as adults. And I love doing that. And so I am a clean comedian. I could be the other way. I did the proms at the Dangerfields. She keeps going. That's me. She speaking in the third.
I missed that part.
Well, you lost me because I spoke in the third person. Proms. I said I could be dirty if necessary.
Yeah, I get that.
For the proms, Rabbi. Sorry to bring up the word.
Oh, I just so when people are out, I didn't quite get that reference.
Yeah, no, I went off on a tangent. It's early in the morning. However, let's get back to you. Yes. Yeah.
What do you think about me? So, Bette Midler. So, what was Chubby Checker like besides Chubby?
Also wonderful. Working in the adult communities in Florida. It was great to see people with walkers and oxygen tanks standing up and doing the twist in the audience.
Well, you have a twisted sense of humor, so that will.
It worked out.
Yeah.
Perfectly said, Doctor.
So why do you still do? I mean, you've channeled obviously stand up into theater, but you still do stand up, or did you just say, the road is too much? It's not worth it.
I've had many shows where I do stand up with the theater monologue, so it's stand up in theater, of course. I had first started with my first one-woman show, Clutter. I am Clutter. I'm saving my life and it's killing me. That was my first solo play.
How long ago? When was this?
2010, 2011.
Pretty recent still. So
and then my second solo play that you asked me about in the past of this interview, about 15 minutes ago, some of the things that I've done. after my, let's see, after my working with different wonderful people that I mentioned, is called Emergency a la carte. Emergency a la carte. And I was blessed to win Best Comedian Award at the United Solo Theater Festival for 2 plays, and one Best Stand-Up Award for the 3rd one, and Best of the Decade Award for the 4th one. My
Best
theater
of the decade. That's 10 years.
in the best of the selection of the decade. In
Yeah.
any, yeah, no, it's very exciting. I'm hopefully as also my theater company, which is American Renaissance Theater Company. I'm thrilled to be with them. It's an honor, and they gave me the great honor of excellence for my play before this one, entitled At Wit's End: A Home for Retired Comics. And they gave me a lovely award, an honor of excellence in playwriting. You know what, Rabbi, the great thing about starting out with stand-up and still loving stand-up, but as time goes by, to make the humor come out of the characters, not just the jokes, not just the jokes, although I love growing up with jokes and living with jokes. I've lived with many. However, making the comedy come out of the characters and talking about what it's like to be human. That's what I hope is meaningful for what's happening in this play. It's a departure. There's humor. It's serious in certain moments, but God will.
At some point, you realize the mother is still dead, because it's a seance.
You realize,
oh, I'm coming back. It's like, no, she's not.
But she's dead from the beginning.
Yeah, right. So, but let me ask you, speaking of death, have you had, since you spent all those years as a comedian on the road with Soupy and Chubby and yourself, did you ever have the hell night? Did you ever go to a bunch of Shriners and try and tell them jokes? And
not only have I had it, it's still nightmares come back, but that's a joke. By the way, I worked also with Charo, not to mention, not to leave her out. She was just delightful in Orlando. It'll come back to me, but it was
Charo.
Yeah, the wonderful Charo. She's exactly the way she is on stage, off stage, the exact same, adorable, funny, affirming, wonderful. And speaking of working with wonderful people, I love to hang out and worked. I was an opening act for Jackie Mason. I'm sure you love.
Now, wait, okay, now here's the deal. Everybody has apparently not nice things to say about Jackie Mason. That he was this, that he was that, speaking of the finger, that probably brought Jackie Mason to your mind. But it's like, you thought he was great, I guess.
Jackie was like an uncle for me. He was wonderful. When I went to the Comedy Store in 1986, after Mitzi Shore, who owns the Comedy Store, God bless her soul, she left us, but she came to Dangerfields one night and we immediately connected, and she said, I want you to come to the Comedy Store in Los Angeles, which I did. It just turns out that Jackie, and I had already worked with him at Dangerfields in September 21st, 1984, but who's counting? I opened for him there. I happen to remember the night. It was advertised in the paper, and of course it was thrilling. And we kept in touch. I also auditioned and got a role in a movie that never came out, where it was called The Stick Up, where I did a scene with Jackie. But it was great to do that scene with him. He was holding up a bank, and I was on the line, and I wouldn't let him go past me as a very elderly woman. I did a character that I used to do I used to have an alter ego in my stand-up act, a grandmother, Grandma Vanessa Blofarb, and he liked that character a lot. Anyway, not to divert myself, I was going to digress.
Following the diversion. So you know Jackie Mason. You're in a movie that never came out with him. You've opened for him. You've worked for him. No, I'm trying to condense the thing here to get to. But
it so happened when I was in Los Angeles in 1986, his wonderful, who became his wife eventually, Jill Rosenfeld, who was his manager and was his manager terrifically. She had the wonderful idea of putting him in a theater, the same act in a theater. And all of a sudden, as Jackie said, you put a shirt in a department store and it's different, everybody sees it differently. I happened to have been there the exact same time that he was there, and he would pick me up at the Comedy Store and I'd spend days with him. I saw him at first the Las Palmas Theater. I would go backstage. Lily Tomlin went back there once. Then after that, it was it's almost time to end.
No, my Tiwala is here. Hold on. Thank you ever so much, Tiwala. So she knows my throat which is starting to get very nice and gentle. So
Can she give me one too?
a sip of tea.
Maybe I can get one from her too. All right. I'll
Oh, that's better. There we go. Okay, good.
That's great. That was much better.
So I'm saying, yeah. So
He would pick me up at the Comedy Store, or I was at a cottage that Mitzi put me up for. First, it's a long story. Anyway, I lived there. I lived there till I came back. I missed my boyfriend, my family. I was there for over a year. Mitzi sent me everywhere. Las Vegas, to the Dunes, San Diego, all the different comedy stores. And I played their comedy store. I brought up Richard Pryor. It was great. Anyway, what I was saying was Jackie Mason would pick me up, and I said that many times, pick me up.
I know what we know what you mean.
Not that I was on the floor, but
that's not what I was thinking.
the excitement was, yeah, right. Thank you. The excitement was that it was like a relative I would spend the day with. This went on for a year. I would go backstage from whatever theater he was at. After that was the New Canaan. I'm not saying it right, but the Canaan.
I say Canaan because of who I am, but Canaan, from New Canaan, Connecticut Theater or something like that.
Well, actually, it was in Los Angeles. I'm going by a long memory from 1980. But anyway, the one after Las Palmas, he went to the other one. I'm not pronouncing it right, but I had the joy of watching him, and he gave me the kindness of appreciating whatever notes I would give him. He wanted my feedback.
That is from
one comic to another.
That's like God saying, "Hey, Abraham, what do you think of the tree there?" That's pretty.
Yeah, but not to give myself. He would do that with people. But
right there, yeah.
Not to be so arrogant, but he would do that with he would interview everybody, and he was always finding out how to make things better. It was fascinating to watch him. A great mentor, of course.
So who was? Be honest, especially if they're dead. Who was an asshole? Which comedians were really vain, or just were doing so much blow that Mrs. Blowfarb was not?
Just say who was difficult to work with.
Who was difficult?
Who was interesting? Who was interesting?
Yeah. Which comedian was interesting?
Thank you, Joyce. That's Joyce, right?
She's got to work in the business. Come on.
Well, she's an Oh no, she's a one-person show actress now. She's like a comedian. She's an actress.
Rabbi, people do multiple things. Women are multi-talented.
As well. I tried to give you multis, but it never. No, I'm talking about my dear wife Miriam Libby, of course, of also blessed memory, who's still very much alive. So, who was a schmuck?
Oh.
I'm going through the file, and it's very difficult to really think of that. I can get back to you on that.
Well, we will absolutely have you on again. But I want to say, because we do have a guest that we're bringing on at 10 o'clock, the cabaret.
I love him.
Would you like to stay? Well, you won't really get to talk much, but every once in a while you could chime in, or we can let you go and have you back and then have our.
Or she could just say hi.
I had a work appointment that I was going to do, but which I had mentioned beforehand when we set this up. But I'm so sorry that but I loved the fellow coming up here. He was in my audience when I was doing stand-up, and I found him in my audience, and he became my son when I was very theatrical. I find my son, my ex-husband, the woman who ruined the relationship, the tramp with my ex-husband. In any event, it's a lot of fun. My stand-up when I used to do it. Now I do the theater, the one-person plays.
Yes.
The Doctor Is Not In was my last play that I did with Austin before this one. So that's exciting. But
what's really exciting is that Nancy Redman is doing her show, A Seance with Mom. And you can see it at the Chain Theater from August 21st, so that's about a week or so away, through September 3rd. 18 performances at the Chain, 312 West 36th Street. Remind people, and again, I don't have your website. Can people go to your website and get tickets and all that sort of thing, or find out more about you?
There is a URL, and it's, well, they can go to my Facebook page, Nancy Redman. It's public, because the URL is our show / seance with mom.
As soon as you start putting slashes in,
If you Google the title of her show and her
of course.
name,
This seance with mom, or if you can't spell seance, because who can, or if you're worried there's an accent in there, which otherwise it'd be scenes, which would make no. So you've got to go to. Just look for Nancy Redman. You'll see that she's doing this show, and that don't go to a page where it says, "Oh, it's over already." No, it's coming back. It's happening August 21st through September 3rd at the Chain Theater in Midtown on the west side between 8th and 9th Avenue over there. So, Nancy, I must have you back because
I must be back. I must be back because you're wonderful. I love you and your wife, even though I don't see her, but I do see her.
Anyway, well, she's going to show, she's bringing up the Facebook page as we speak. And then Richard, hold on one moment, we'll get you right on the show. Let's get Richard on. You'll say a shalom to him, then you have to go work because you're too important for this show. I'm admitting Richard Holbrook into the Daverhood here. And so, meanwhile.
And I want to see everybody show up at the show. And we've had Q&As after the show, let me just say, because there are some serious subjects and people just don't, just to let you know, some people just don't want to get up they sit and they want to ask questions, and we have some Q&As. I hope it's meaningful, my show. That's how I'll leave it with you. I hope it's meaningful.
Oh, yeah.
As it has been for me to do it. A seance with mom.
A seance with, I see people come to my shows, they can't get up. You know, they need help. So this takes a moment because to admit into a Zoom room takes.
I love Richard. I love Richard.
They have a nice testimonial reel too.
Of where? Of her show?
It's a testimonial reel of a seance with mom. It's posted.
Oh, Joyce is right on target.
I like it.
So, first of all, Richard, I welcome shalom to the neighborhood. Just for a moment, we're bidding farewell to Nancy Redman, whom you know and who I guess knows.
Yes, I do. I love Nancy.
She can't stay, unfortunately, but how talk to each other for 1 minute, and I'll let you go, Nancy.
I'm thrilled to see you, Richard.
We know each other from Dana Lorge's iguana shows. God rest her soul.
Yes. What a wonderful way to be introduced to you through Dana. We all love Dana. She was a wonderful cabaret icon, a wonderful Broadway style mama who was just gorgeous, loving, wonderful. And who has left us? But Richard, we met and I was able to perform in front of you. I was able to see you perform in front of you, not personally in a hotel.
It wasn't a sexual thing. Like, oh God. No, it's a very.
Sorry, Rabbi Nishvat. I won't go into some Yiddish.
Well, you could, Richard. You're a goy, right? You're a shagitz.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Well, we'll talk anyway.
Rabbi, make him an honorary Jew.
For the next 29 minutes, you are an hour or so because you're staying for the quiz. You are an honorary Jew. So shalom.
Thank you.
Nancy, we're going to bid you a very, very fond and loving shalom. Welcome to the neighborhood. Everybody go see a seance with mom off Broadway, the Chain Theater from August, I have it written down here, August 21st through September 3rd. Mwah! We love you, and we will see you soon.
Love you, Nancy.
Love you too. Love you, Rabbi. Love you, Joyce. Rabbi Sol Solomon. Love you, Joyce. Love you, Richard. And God, thank you for this wonderful interview.
Oh, great.
He says you're welcome.
All the best.
Shalom to you. Oh, Nancy Redman there. But you, Richard, don't go away. So stay with us. Thank you so much. Welcome to the neighborhood. A proper welcome for this man who, he's a multiple MAC Award nominee. MAC is the Manhattan Association of Cabaret and Clubs. City Cabaret critic Elizabeth Olfers, who producer of this show knows personally, called him, quote, the gentleman of song.
Ooh.
No one has ever called me the gentleman of anything. I'm telling you.
You've never been called the gentleman.
She's very kind and very flattering. She's a good lady.
Roles on The Sopranos, he was a piece here and there on Spin City, but mostly it's cabaret for this man who is doing his latest 20+3 in 2023 at 54 Below, and that's happening this Tuesday, August 15th. Get your 54below.org. So what is the meaning of 20+? Is it that you've had 23 years in the biz?
Yeah, well, the thing is, 3 years ago in 2020, Tom Nelson, my musical director, and I were going to celebrate 20 years of our musical collaboration. But unfortunately, the pandemic came along and we had to be postponed. So this year we both decided to present a 20-year plus 3 anniversary celebration, thus 20 plus 3 in 2023. And we decided to really make it special. And in order to do that, I got multi-cabaret award-winning singer and director Jeff Harner to direct my show.
He's been
And
on the show. We know
he
him.
is phenomenal. He is phenomenal. I've always wanted to work with Jeff. And I'm also being accompanied by my trio, not only Tom Nelson as musical director and pianist, but Tom Kirshmer on bass and Peter Grant on drums.
Wow. See, I've always wanted to be a pianist, but there, you know, I don't know what that means. Now, let me ask you one thing. First of all, that is not a Hirschfeld behind you, but that looks like an original.
No, that's a John Canemaker. John Canemaker is a cartoonist, a
Patchwork Family, John Canemaker.
Yes, and an Academy Award-winning illustrator.
Who cares? Who's on the Patchwork Family? That's all that matters. And he taught at NYU when Dave was going there. So he taught animation at New York University. That's a real John Canemaker.
That's me. That's me. John did a caricature of me.
Why did he? Under what circumstances was he animating you or something or what?
John is a friend of mine. John is a good friend of mine, and also a good friend of my friends, Ken Starretts. And he and Ken have known each other for many, many years. Then that's how I got to know John. And John just lives 2 blocks away from me. And he's come to see my show. And I think it was one of my Christmas shows I was promoting. And he decided to do a caricature of me singing in a tuxedo with a microphone in my hand.
It's lovely. You have an original. Oh, everything just comes back. It's more coming back to Dave. I'll tell him as soon as the interview's over. All this stuff, but he just remembers he was shocked when he was going to school. He was like an undergraduate. It was like 1980. My God, far. No, it was 1981 or 2. And he'd go up to get advising at Tish, or whatever the hell it was called at that point. And then suddenly in a room, there was John Canemaker, who he watched as a kid, showing kids how to draw on TV.
On the Patchwork with Carol Corbett.
Yes, and Rags. And who else was on? Susie Pruden doing exercises. She was on the thing. Who else was on that thing? I don't.
It was on WCBS TV Channel 2. And it was one of the early morning children's shows on Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. So are you in New York? You are a dyed-in-the-wool New Yorker?
Yes, I was born in New York City at the now defunct St. Vincent's Hospital. And I was raised in Rockland County. And but I've always had a strong connection to New York. And in my show, I say that there's a spoiler alert. My love for New York will be a recurring theme tonight. So, and I've had this love affair with New York City. I was down. I lived in Orlando for 10 years, from 1989 to 1999.
Why?
Well, because a friend of mine suggested that the business, the acting, singing business, was moving down to Orlando, Florida at that time.
Like Janet Art had one theater. What the hell? What was
but the movie industry was supposedly moving down there. It never did. And I, after 10 years of being down there, and I just said, I need to be where I need to be, and in order to sing the songs that I want to sing. And a friend of mine, Eric Comstock, had just gotten some recent success with his Our Sinatra show, and he sent me a postcard. And I thought to myself, this was in 1999. I said, I just passed 40. And I thought to myself, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it. So I decided to bite the bullet and move to New York City. I never lived in the city. I was always afraid of the city, living in it, because I thought I would never make it. But I thought, look, I don't have a wife, I don't have children. And if I fall on my face, I just, and Jerome Kern, the Dorothy Fields' song, I just pick myself up, dust myself off, and start all over again. And that's what I did. And I hit the ground running. And that was in 1999. And in the following year, I met Tom Nelson, and I decided to, do the cabaret thing. And I've been at it ever since. And Tom even said to me, because there was some, with cabaret, there's always, it's not easy. And especially when you're starting over, as I was doing, I was trying to make up for lost time. But he said to me at one point, he said, Richard, you're a perfect example of the little engine that could and did. And so I was very flattered to hear that. And he's right, because I just kept going. And singing has always been my passion. And that's what's kept me going through the rough times, especially through my health challenges, which I went through in 2013.
That was, I wanted to talk about New York first, but let's go through this. I mean, it was not just, oh, you were feeling poorly. Oh, you had you only had COVID back then, but no, you had the big
Jaw
C.
cancer, jaw cancer. And I had to, I thought it was a canker sore that wouldn't go away. And my dentist was trying to get me to an oral surgeon. And finally, when it got to the point where I was brushing my teeth and blood was coming out and the canker sore wasn't going away, I made an appointment with the oral surgeon. And then I saw my dentist and he opened I opened my mouth for him, and he took a look, and he put his arm on he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, I'm going to twist your arm. I want you to see your oral surgeon. I said, I've already made an appointment with him. And when I went to see him, it was true. It was a single cell carcinoma, stage 4. And by the time I went down to Emory University Hospital, where my family, they're in Georgia, most of them are in Atlanta, Georgia. I went down to Emory University Hospital to see a doctor. And by the time I got down there, it had spread to the jawbone. And so they arranged for me to, this was in September of 2013, they arranged for me to have the operation October 1st, a couple of weeks later. And
It's possible. I mean, obviously, yeah.
and so I had it done, and it was a 13-hour operation. I had my left jaw replaced by the fibula of my left leg. I underwent recovery. I went through herbal chemotherapy, radiation, and one of the most terrifying things was when I was intubated for a whole week after the surgery. I couldn't make any vocal sound, which was
Were you
terrifying.
under sedation, or were you awake and just?
I was awake. I'm not during the surgery. I was under sedation, obviously, but after the surgery, when I was intubated, I couldn't utter a sound, and that was terrifying because I just had a magic marker and a plastic tablet, and I was trying to write, and my sister couldn't understand what I was trying to say, and I would get so frustrated. She said, "Don't get mad." I said, and then I realized how important it is to be able to communicate, and how and that's why I have the utmost respect and compassion to this day for people undergoing serious illnesses or physical defects and who cannot speak. And so one of my songs that I'm singing is by Charles Aznavour. It's called Quiet Love, about a man who's trying to communicate with the woman he's in love with, who is not able to vocally communicate. And so that really held a special meaning for me. In fact, I do an Aznavour suite, shall we say, a suite of songs. And that's one of the highlights of the show.
Actually, we have a question from the gallery here. Yes.
Did he have to learn? Did he have to learn to speak again, or could he speak?
I had to learn. I had to learn to move my tongue. I had to learn how to swallow.
She taught me that on our honeymoon, but
I had to learn how to swallow. I had to learn how to chew. I had to learn how to speak, and also to sing. And when I got back to New York, I met with Tom Nelson. In our first session, it was like scraping gravel on a driveway because my range had diminished, and I had to work to get my range back. But I got my range back. It didn't affect my vocal cords, tongue, or lymph nodes. So I was, and it went from a stage 4 to a stage 3 curable. So I was very.
I mean, I guess you have to go back every couple of months and check, but you haven't had a recurrence in 20 years.
No.
10 years, excuse me. Yeah,
10
right.
years.
And it's amazing. I mean, honestly, when I hear what you did in the jaw, I expected like Roger Ebert, like a squash pumpkin. But no, how did they manage to, considering what you had done?
Yeah.
It's quite amazing that you look perfectly normal. I mean, and you can sing and speak perfectly normal.
Yes.
It's quite wonderful.
I can't really open my mouth as wide as I like to, but I can still produce the sounds, and I can still enunciate and articulate the lyrics.
Obviously, yes.
And being a devotee of the Great American Songbook, I love lyrics. I love the lyrics of Gershwin and Porter, and I mean, it's so important to get those words out as well as the music, because it's so important.
So
and
what was the time frame between walking out of the hospital to, hey, I'm ready to do a cabaret show?
Okay, interesting question, because in September 2013, I was right before I was diagnosed, I was about to do a reprise of my Fred Astaire show, the Untapped Fred Astaire, and I had to cancel it. And so Sidney Meyer, lovely Sidney Meyer, Don't Tell Mama, he said, don't worry about it, Richard, just, do the show when you're well enough, just get better. So I was determined that a year from that time, I would be able to do the show. So I had the operation in October. By December, I had the trach taken. I had a trach for 3 months. I had the trach taken out. I had the feeding tube taken out as well. They were so impressed by my recovery, by my quick recovery, that by January, they were talking about January 2014, the doctors were talking about my going home. And so in February of 2014, 5 months later after the operation, I went home and I resumed my life. And I started to practice singing, and I got together with Tom, and we were determined to do the Fred Astaire show September of 2014, and which we did. And I was also invited, because I had done the Burton Lane show. They were doing a salute to Burton Lane at the Mabel Mercer Cabaret Convention, and Jeff Harder invited me to be part of that same month. So it was a
So
blessing.
it's literally just over a year.
Yes, just over a year. Yeah.
That's wonderful.
And so I was able to say, and there was still some top notes I couldn't reach. We had to transpose, but I got most of my vocal range back, and it was a miracle.
Wow, mazel. Now, if people want to hear Richard Holbrook sing and the way he is now, you can go see him this Tuesday night, August 15th, at 54 Below. He's doing a show 20 plus 3 in 2023. Get your tickets at 54below.org. And they call it 54 Below because it's like underneath Studio 54 on, what is it, 300 something West 54th Street? I don't know the exact, whatever.
It's 254 West 54th.
254 West 54th. Okay, so I didn't note that down, but you can say, just figure out where Studio 54 is and go under it, and there you will be.
First get tickets.
Now, besides the Sweet Aznavour suite that you are doing, what other songs are you doing, and what other artists are you doing in?
I'm doing sort of like a recap of what I've done in the past. A little bit of Burton Lane. There's a song that he wrote with Yip Harburg called "Anything Can Happen in New York" from the MGM Film Babes on Broadway with Mickey Rooney and Judy Garland. I'm doing from my Rogers show, Richard Rogers show. I'm doing a medley of "I Feel at Home with You" and "Now Swell" from a Connecticut Yankee that he did with.
Going a little deep into the catalog there, aren't we?
And I do "Old Friends" by Sondheim, and also what else am I doing? Oh, and from the Burton Lane show, I'm doing "How Could You Believe Me When I Said I Loved You When You Know I've Been a Liar All My Life" from Royal Wedding.
Yes.
Yeah. And "Too Late Now" from Royal Wedding, which Miss Jane Powell introduced, and lovely Jane Powell. And also I do a medley with the musicians to show off Fred Astaire's. This is from my Fred Astaire show. To not only show off Fred Astaire's master ability as a singer and interpreter of lyrics, but also as a musician, because he was known to skillfully play the drums, bass, and piano. So I do Drum Crazy, I do Slap That Bass, and Fascinating Rhythm.
So do you actually go on the instruments yourself? You go?
No, I showcase my musicians.
Israel does them. Okay, got it.
That showcases the musicians. And then and I salute New York. I do. They all laughed, and I happen to like New York, but it's really a very nice celebration of 23 years working with Tom Nelson, who I absolutely love that man. He's terrific. He's been wonderful to me. He's seen me at my best and seen me at my not so best. But we go back so far, and I'm so thrilled to be teamed with him and to be celebrating, being able to do what I love to do in New York City, and having been able to do it despite all the odds and all the the conflicts and things like that happen. I want to tell you something, Dave. Every
by Sal to you.
I'm sorry. And sorry. I just want to say that every time I went through a difficulty, or there was a stumbling block, I would say to myself, no, I've got to keep focused. I've got a show coming up. And I've got to really keep going. And that's what kept me going. Was the fact that I would be singing. I would always have a singing engagement to do, and that's been my passion.
And it's still, even after you've got this big gig coming up on Tuesday at 51,
yes.
What's after that? Are you going to?
I'm hoping to maybe do it again. Because I think that there's it could stand a run, a little bit of a run. Maybe
right.
because people who can't see it, I could do it again maybe in September, October, and we'll see what happens. But it's always nice to be asked back, and I'm hoping that 54 Below will ask me back.
Oh, hey, you never, or if not, maybe the LA Philharmonic or
Right, exactly. You know, anywhere. But even though I've done Don't Tell Mama for many years, and I love Sidney Meyer, and I haven't done the Laurie Beachman Theater, but I remember the wonderful Metropolitan Room, which is no more, unfortunately. That was Bernie Fershpan did a wonderful job in running that, and I missed that because it was so classy and so nice to appear in, and that was a tragedy that we lost that.
I never
But
went to Danny's Skylight Room. Did you ever do that place? That was
I
their
did that. Yes, Donald Schaefer. I knew Donald Schaefer very well, and that's how I got my start. In fact, there was a place on East 28th Street called Archie's Place that John Miller managed. And when I was first starting out, I thought, geez, I'd love to perform in a place like that. And John said, well, you know, Richard, he sat me down. He said, you know, Richard, I'm a devotee of cabaret. I'm a fan of cabaret, but I'm running a business, and you have to have so many people here to do your show. And if you don't, you know, you're responsible. So I went over to Donald Schaefer, and I said, I tried to go into Archie's Place, but John kind of set me straight about that. I think I should start out at Danny's Skylight Room. And he said, Richard, I think you're right. And so that's what I did. And I went back and forth from Danny's to Don't Tell Mamas. But Sydney also, I should mention, Sydney gave me my first start in cabaret. And he's coming to the show. And I'm very happy. Yeah.
Well, tell him shalom from us, because he's been on this program too. And
yes, yeah. He is,
if
I may use the word, he is a mensch.
Now, let me ask you also, we've talked so much about music and cabaret, but you all have a significant number of theater credits too, a lot of them regional and community theater in Rockland County.
Yes.
So what was your favorite role in legit straight theater?
Oh, Clifford Anderson in Death Trap.
Oh, now which character is that? Is that the young?
He's the young writer who goes to the older playwright and tries to get support and help from him and advice. And you know, little does the audience know, or the older playwright's wife know, that they're having an affair. So and among other things. And my second favorite role was Timmy Cleary in The Subject Was Roses by
is he the alcoholic?
By Frank Gilroy. Yeah.
Did you see the musical they just did of that off Broadway? They just did The Subject Was Roses musical.
I didn't see that. No.
Which is played with Kelly O'Hara and who the hell was it? Irish guy. Oh, he plays a lot of Irish guys.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway, doesn't matter. Let me ask you also, Richard Holbrook. Well, what did I want to ask you? You come from a surprisingly, I mean, not for Jewish people, because we just breed like rabbits, but you were one of 9 children. Is this true?
One of 9 children, yes.
Did you feel that you had to sing or whatever to stand out? Like, if you'd been an only child, you wouldn't be so.
I was sort of the maverick in the family, because I was the only one who I was the only male who was not really sports oriented. I would watch old movies and musicals and things like that, which tells you a lot. But the thing is, it was in high school that I first started to realize I could really sing. And my first show, my first high school musical was How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And I remember at the auditions for singing, I thought, geez, I don't know if I can sing or not. I don't know if I can get up, but all the other people are getting up to sing. Okay, well, why not? And I got up there, and everybody said, "What a good voice you have." And so I thought, oh, great. So I really enjoyed my experience doing theater, and especially musicals. And in my senior year in high school, I was in the Clarkstown Summer Theater Festival, and they did a production of My Fair Lady, and I was Freddie Eynsford Hill.
Oh, that's yeah, all right.
And people came up to me and they said, oh, who do you take voice from? I said, I don't take voice lessons. And one lady said, that's wonderful. But she said, Richard, do me a favor. When you go to college, take voice lessons, because you might be doing something wrong. But people thought I'd been taking voice lessons for years. I had to what happened was when I started to sing, I was singing from here, and someone told me, a very good voice teacher said, sing from the diaphragm. And he taught me how to sing from the diaphragm. And I took to it like a duck to water. And that's why people thought like I was taking voice lessons.
It's right. But I was always told that women sing from the diaphragm and men should sing from the condom. But it's a whole different sort of feeling. Yeah, don't feel you have to laugh. Let me also ask you. We're talking, by the way, Richard Holbrook here. Do you also? I noticed on somewhere, I think, have you been like having a day job at the Paley Center? Is that you? That you deal with old film or old TV shows and things like? Or am I totally mistaking you for a different person?
No. I was at the. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Because you're kind of coming in and out. Let me see if I can connect my Wi-Fi. Okay.
We're here with Richard Holbrook, by the way, who's going to be at 54 Below. That's 254 West 54th Street. That's happening this Tuesday evening. You can get your tickets at 54below.org. He's going to be there doing his show 20+3 in 2023. It's directed by our mutual friend of the Daverhood, Jeff Harner, and he's going to be doing all these songs from the Great American Songbook, this tribute to New York, from people like Richard Rodgers and Burton Lane, and there's a Charles Aznavour suite that he's going to be. How much more do I have to vamp, Richard? I don't know what you're doing there, but yes, you're going to want to see him on. Welcome back, Shalom. Do you fix it?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
You're coming in and out. But anyway, you can hear me.
Yeah, perfectly. Yes, perfectly.
Okay.
Yes.
The thing is, so what your question was?
I'm trying to remember what it started talking about your siblings.
Yeah.
And then standing out from them because you were the only one who wasn't a sports person.
Right.
And then you realized, this is how I'm gonna stand. Are all your relatives still alive? I'm just
my brother John, in fact, he died a year before my operation. He died from tongue cancer. So when I was diagnosed, I kept the news for my family for a week because I didn't want to, we had just gone through 10 months with John, and I thought I can't do that to my family. So, but finally I had to let them know. And but he waged a tough battle, and he was very very brave. And I miss him terribly. He was a wonderful brother, and he was one of twins. I now have I have 3 brothers and 4 sisters, and yeah. And so it was before I could say I have 4 brothers and 4 sisters, and there's me. But now I have 3 and 4, and there's me. But my family is very supportive of me, and the thing is, I was very privileged and lucky to have learned what I learned in high school and in college of music. And I did take singing lessons in college. And then after college, I worked with a vocal coach, and there was a production at Bergen County Players of How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying. And I wanted to play the part of Finch, and I auditioned for it, and I didn't get it. And I was disappointed. But what I did was I turned the disappointment around, and I started doing, I said, I want to do a concert. And so I did a concert at the New City Library. And that's what started the whole concert cabaret performing. Yeah.
Now let me ask you one quick question before I have to go and back to my shul and bring Dave in to talk with you and bring you into the quiz. But let me ask you, what was the greatest cabaret show by someone else that you've ever seen?
Greatest cabaret show I'd ever seen by someone else.
You're in the business for 20 all these years. You must have gone to see other people's.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I would say it's a tough question, but I would say that it's a tie. Marilyn May.
Still alive. She's 96.
Still
performing. Marilyn May, yes.
Marilyn May and my friend Jeff Harner doing his Cy Coleman show.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah, one of the best, two of the best cabaret performances I've seen.
well, people can judge for yourselves whether Richard Holbrook is doing one of the best cabaret shows you've ever seen by going to see him this Tuesday night at 54 Below, doing 20 plus 3 in 2023.
Yeah.
And see it this Tuesday. Now, don't go away, Richard. I'm going to have to leave you alone for like 15
And so I'm sorry I got your name because it said Dave Lefkowitz on the bottom. So
Well, you're gonna be talking to Dave in like
Right.
half a minute because he runs the show and he's gonna do the quiz and he's
but it's a pleasure speaking with you and meeting you finally.
oh yeah,
So-
after all these years, yes, and you are a delight and it's so great to see you looking and sounding so well. McMazel, like I'm gonna play a little bit of I would have you sing something, but I'm afraid Facebook will block it. Do you have something that is public domain that you can sing?
Oh.
For a moment?
I can sing a little bit of Our Love Is Here to Stay, if you a cappella.
Yeah. I don't know if that's public domain. Just a little. I'll cut you off before
Okay.
Facebook mutes everything. So please, ladies and gentlemen, Richard Holbrook.
In time the Rockies may crumble, Gibraltar may tumble, they're only made of clay, but our love is here, it's more than clear. Our love is here to stay.
Well, we are here to stay with Richard Holbrook, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, Dave. How are
Dave
you?
Lefkowitz, the founder and producer of Dave's Gone By, which is this program that you're watching live on this Saturday morning, August 12th, 2023. It's our 907th episode, and we're calling it BROOK Review because of Richard Holbrook joining us. And joining us for our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz is the delightful actress and theater critic Leslie Hoban Blake, she's on the left side of my screen. I'm not sure where she is on yours. Hello, Leslie. Oh, I think you need to.
Hello, Leslie.
Unmute, Les. Hold it. Unmute. Can't hear you.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Leslie. How you doing?
I'm tired, thank you.
Great. And we also have, of course, David Sheward, who is a theater critic. He writes for TheaterLife.com, CulturalDaily.com, TotalTheater.com, and he has his blog, The David Desk, where he, at this point, he probably has 25,000 pages about the Carol Burnett Show. David, looking good. How's it going? I love the shirt.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, and
Hello,
everybody,
David.
please say hello to Richard Holbrook, actor and cabaret star, who's going to be at 54 Below.
You're too kind.
Well, no, it's true. It's true. He's going to be at 54 Below this Tuesday night. So guys, how is everybody? Everybody looking good? I know, Leslie, you're going to the theater later to see the funny one. No, not the cottage.
The shark is broken.
Shark is broken.
We hope it's funny. We haven't been there yet.
And
That's the royal we. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that.
and David, how you doing? You're looking good.
Thank you. I'm fine. I saw The Shark is Broken earlier this week.
Next week, sorry.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Is that your whole review, David?
Well, I don't want to give any spoilers or ruin it for you in any way. And
I think it's about, but is it true that the shark is broken? I mean, that won't be spoiling anything, right?
well, that's the premise, that they're waiting
I
around
know.
while the shark is broken. What do they do?
I know. Three men in a boat. I know.
Yes.
It's,
And we actually had the guy, and forgive me for forgetting his name, but the guy who adapted the screenplay for Jaws was on this show, and I assume he has something to do with this show too. And forgive me for forgetting it. We didn't have Spielberg on the show, but I'm so sorry. Like a writer of the original screenplay for Jaws. Just go on davesgoneby.com. You can find him. And I just did not prepare enough for this episode of the show. I apologize. But I am very well prepared to play the Today, Yesterday quiz with our three delightful panelists. And Richard, have no fear. I mean, you survived cancer. You will survive. Leslie survived cancer. She will. So it's like, it's just really dumb questions. Some of them you might be able to get right because they're normal trivia questions. Others are like, oh, I don't know, A, whatever. And the other thing is that, and the thing is that we talk aloud you know, when you're thinking of the answer to a question, you think out loud, even if it gives the answer away accidentally. It's
Hey,
just
Dave, no spoilers.
well, occasional spoiler sometimes. The other thing you need to know is that
Excuse me.
some of the questions have to do with things that happened in history on this date. This is August 12th, so it might be August 12th, 1300, might be August 12th, 1727. That's really the only connective tissue that we have. Each question is worth 2 points if you get it right. If you don't, no penalty, but somebody else might get to steal that question. So, are you guys all ready to play the game?
Yes, I just need to get my pad, but go ahead.
You still have your flow? I would figure you'd be you know, in your 40s, menopause. Anyway, I don't. Richard, since you are our brand new friend of the Daverhood, could you kindly think of a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is? Tell all of us what it is.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear. Did you say it?
4.
4. Richard with we don't usually get a 4. Leslie, are you going? Let me guess. Are you 6? Leslie always takes 6. This is why I know these things. And David sort of bounces between 2 and 3 or whatever. So what?
I'll say 3.
3. David Sheward. Now, Joyce is not in the room, so I'm going to roll a die. Available here. This is
I love the casualness of the show this morning.
Please, if I tell you, I only want to confess this, but like a month and a half ago, we arranged for, didn't realize that it was confirmed that a guest was coming in at 9:30, and completely forgot. And then she showed up, and Rabbi Sol was just scrambling for questions, so it worked out great. But anyway, Joyce is gonna roll. She's back. Here we go. Joyce is rolling. She rolled a 5. Okay, that nobody has that number. Joyce has just rolled a 6. Leslie, do you want to go first, second, or third?
Oh, I want you to go third, please. Thank you.
Joyce, could you roll another die, please? We have a 4. Richard, would you rather go first or second?
I'll go first.
I'll go, Richard. All right, and David, you are answering. All that means is this will be the order of the questions in our 2 rounds. So, Richard, you get the first question, and it is a multiple choice. And as I said, some of the questions are about history, but some of them are also more current events. For example,
if you don't get a question, Richard, just talk about your show.
Right. If you have no idea and you pass, just say, "Hey, everybody, see 20 plus 3 in 2023 at 54 below." So here's your first question, though. On Monday, the directing world lost William Friedkin, whose credits ranged from The Exorcist and The French Connection to documentaries to 2 episodes of CSI. We miss him in the theater world too, because he directed half a dozen film versions of stage plays. Which of these was not a Friedkin movie based on a show? A, The Homecoming. B, The Boys in the Band. C, Killer Joe. D, The Birthday Party.
Killer Joe.
Wow, that was wow. Is that like I need my xylophonic? Is that your final answer?
Yes, it is.
I do.
That was quick.
Well, Richard, this kills me to say it, but it's not the correct answer.
Oh,
You
dear.
actually did the film of Tracy Letts's Killer Joe. So we have a steal opportunity. Hung, could you kindly roll the die? We have a 3. Here we go. David Sheward. Yeah. So which of these is not a William Friedkin movie of a play?
Asked the other David why he doesn't say Mr. Peabody anymore.
Yeah, we were wondering about that.
I-
You haven't said that in so long.
I have. I haven't. Why I haven't said it yet on this episode?
Oh no, it's been a long
I
time.
said it. Excuse me. Well, there haven't been the puns. The puns have not been that bad. Narrative.
Thank you.
I mean, so
Done
bad.
with faint praise. Go ahead.
All right. I know that, and maybe this. I hope this doesn't help Well, maybe it'll help Leslie in the end. But I know Boys in the Band was Friedkin to direct that. So it's either The Homecoming or The Birthday Party. And I'm pretty sure he did not do the film of The Homecoming, which was part of this American film theater thing, which is where they took a bunch of plays and did movie versions of them, and you bought a season subscription. You had to buy a season subscription to all of them, and you got a program and everything. I think now the birthday party, it could be, so it's they're both Harold Pinter plays. I think that I think it's The Homecoming is one he did not do the film of.
Is that going to be your final answer?
Yes, yes.
Well, this is David Sheward's home away from home, because very often he wins the Today Yesterday Trivia Contest, and he's well on his way this week because he's getting 2 points to get right on the board. David Sheward corrects. The Homecoming, it was a movie. It was 1973 and directed by theater director Peter Hall. Made the film of it.
Just so you see, I already circled that because I also had the answer. Just so you see, I interviewed Billy Friedkin, as he was known, way back when he did Bug. He had a thing about Tracy Letts plays, and he loved them. And Michael Shannon starred in Bug off Broadway in Chicago, and then he starred in the movie as well. That was really the kickoff to his career.
No.
I wanted to throw that in just because I thought he was a neat guy.
And the fact that he directed 2 Letts films of plays, Killer Joe and Bug.
No, he really loved Tracy Letts. He loved him, and he loved his work.
Cool. And how was Friedkin to interview? Was he a nice guy? Was he?
He was a charmer. He was just delightful.
Oh,
He
yeah.
was funny and expansive. And when I directed so and so, I mean, it was
Right.
really,
Oh,
it
that's
was
exactly
really
what you want. Yes.
I had a very good time.
Excellent. Excellent. And well, David is having a really good time because he's got 2 points on the board, and he gets the next question. So he can really take a lead here. But
Okay.
David, guess what kind of question this is?
Oh no.
3 clues in the news.
Yes, it's 3 clues in the news. Here we go.
Okay.
So,
Better you than me, kid.
Indictment.
No. So, to explain briefly to Richard, and I'll if this question does come to you, I'll be more clear about it. But we're going to give David 3 unconnected words, 3 unconnected clues. Each of those clues connects to another word that goes with that word. So it could be blank word or word blank. And the word that he has to come up with not only connects to those 3 words, but has something to do with something that's been in the news in the past week or so. I will give examples and explain more if the question comes to you. But David, this is your 3 clues.
Okay.
He's ready, honey.
Shell, jug, string.
Shell, jug, string. Jug. Shell, jug, string.
Or it doesn't, yeah. It's like-
Shell. Well, it's not oil, and it's not theory. Jug. And it's not head, because string head doesn't make any sense. Shell. And it's not oil. Jug, string.
Words again, David.
Okay, the 3 clues are
Okay,
shell,
shell, jug, string.
Yes.
String. This is the one that, like you said, you either get it right away or you don't.
We all have
So-
our Achilles. Don't worry about it. You're human.
What?
You're human,
Yeah,
David.
we all
Oh
have
yeah, I know.
Although, like
So I'm
Richard
just gonna
still has an
say,
angle. Yeah, sorry.
fish.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, I can't. There are several that fit 2 of them, but not all 3. So I'm just gonna say fish.
Well, I'm glad you're Finn-ish with your answer. That was terrible. That isn't even worthy of a Peabody.
Oh, Mr. Peabody.
But it is.
that was a sympathy.
Such a weak Mr. Peabody.
I could,
Oh,
Such a
Mr.
weak-
Peabody.
but I'm afraid that was not the correct answer. Fish is not the word that we are looking for. So, Han, could you kindly roll the die?
Sure.
we have a 4, Richard. So let me explain this a little bit more because this question comes to you now of 3 clues in the news. So each of these 3 words does not connect to each other, but each one itself connects to another word in a phrase or in a short phrase or something like that. For example, if I were to, this is a fake example.
Practice.
Yeah, a practice one. If I were to ask you, what word are we looking for? Where the heck is my, oh, here they are. Spider shines pox. What word goes with all 3 of those? Like blank spider or spider blank pox or pox blank, shines.
Just tell him so he can see the logic.
Yeah. If or can you, do you think you can?
I have no clue.
So the word in that particular case would be monkey, because there's spider monkey, monkey shines, monkey pox.
Okay.
Or or couch, sweet vegetable would be potato. So
Okay.
this particular case, same kind of thing, but also the word you're looking for has something to do with something in the news that happened in the past week. So the words in this week's clue are shell, jug, string.
Fish.
What would you say? Fish?
Fish.
I said fish.
Yeah,
you said-
no, we said fish already. So.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I don't know.
I heard there's something going on at 54 Below. I think on Tuesday, right?
Was it called 20 plus 3, 20, something
Yes,
like that?
I believe so.
Yes.
So
Sorry about it. I couldn't get. Sorry.
no, I don't have to apologize. You can pick a word in the dictionary
He
and
apologizes because he's a gentleman.
that's right. The gentleman of cabaret.
I love that. That's such a
So any word you want to throw out there? Try it.
Shell, jug,
String.
spring. Hook. I don't know.
All right. Hook. And then final answer, hook.
Yep.
Well, I'm afraid I have to give you the hook because it's not the correct answer. So Leslie Hoban Blake, you seem puzzled
oh, wow.
by this one as well.
This is a tough
Leslie
one.
gets.
I have been puzzled since you said the words. I came up with, just like David, I came up with something that worked with 1 or 2, but not everything. I have bean, that doesn't work. Jug is the one that's killing me. I have no idea what goes with jug except head, as our friend has already said. I give up, and I'm not playing at 54 Below, so I'm sorry, I have nothing to plug.
Well, you can say 2 on the aisle because Leslie is, of course, the co-host.
We have
By the
2
way,
on the aisle coming up this Thursday. Yes, okay.
You're semi-frozen, Les, but at least we hear you. So don't tamper with anything. We're just
I'm moving around over here.
a little bit. Well, we see
Am I still frozen?
you're
You're moving funny.
Yeah. It's
You're
like,
like
I'm using my phone. I'm
It's like
on
a-
my phone, darling. I have no idea what that means.
It's
but at
like
least
William.
your
It's like
voice-
it's like William Friedkin directed it.
Thank you. I would have been thrilled.
All right, so let me give you guys a hint because I've stumped the panel on this one. So Richard, you actually, it's a shame you didn't get this one because you work with one. You will have one on Tuesday night.
A show.
And
Audience, ticket.
he's a
theater,
cabaret singer.
song.
Piano accompaniment.
Yeah, this.
Trio. No.
Oh, what is a trio?
Medley.
Medley.
What
A list. A group.
String.
Bass player. No.
is part of a
Band.
Section. Oh, band.
Oh,
Band.
just band. Band shell.
Oh,
Band
band shell. Oh,
Band,
Band string.
jug
Okay, band.
band
Okay.
shell. Jug. Oh, string band. Band string.
no string band.
String band. Yes,
Oh,
right.
string
Jug band,
band.
jug band,
Oh,
String band. Yeah, got it.
And of
Yeah.
course, why was that in the news this past week?
some
Because Robbie Robertson is
Robbie
gone.
Robertson
died.
died.
Robbie Robertson.
8 years old after a long
string
illness.
band.
Yeah.
Robbie
Who's in the band?
Robertson.
Oh.
I keep
Okay.
saying, hello,
Oh,
can
if
you
you said
not hear me?
rubber. If you had said rubber instead of string, I bet I would have gotten it.
Oh,
You
yeah.
should have said rubber band. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can hear you. We can hear
Hear
you.
you.
Okay, because I was yelling Robbie Robertson.
Yeah, we
that's all.
heard you.
We heard Robbie.
Okay,
Leslie, they heard you, but they ignore you like they.
they heard me in Idaho, I know, I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
we heard you, Brett.
You're a woman in a room full of men, so you have only a limited amount that will actually listen to you. Yes.
Oh, thank you for mansplaining that to me.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Nobody got that question. That's perfectly okay. David is still on top of
You
the
kick me
game.
that die. Kick me
Oh,
that
yeah,
die.
of course.
I don't know
With 2 points
King of the Hill.
so far. But Leslie, you can tie him if you get this question right. So, and this is a multiple choice. And it's also another recent thing. So, on Tuesday, the music world lost singer-songwriter Sisto Rodriguez, who was 81 years old. The Michigan-born folk and pop musician was all but forgotten in America until a 2012 Oscar-winning documentary about him revived his career. Taking its title from Rodriguez's signature song, what was the name of that documentary? A, I Am Trying to Break Your Heart. B, Searching for Sugar Man. C, A Poem is a Naked Person. Or D, Meeting People is Easy.
Sugar Man.
I say it again one more time, Les.
Sugar Man.
B, Sugar Man.
Sugar Man, she said.
Is
B,
that
Sugar Man.
B, Sugar Man? Is that your final answer, though?
Yes.
Isn't Leslie sweet? She got the right answer, ladies and gentlemen. 2 points. David, did you have that one too? Richard, did you?
Yeah, I think, yeah,
Sugar Man, that because his song was.
I remembered it.
So, those others were actual movies, by the way.
Oh, really?
Break Your Heart was about Wilco, and A Poem is a Naked Person was a 1974 documentary by Les Blank about Leon Russell. And the final one, Meeting People is Easy, was a film about Radiohead. So those were all like rock docs. But Searching for Sugar Man was about Sisto Rodriguez. Oh, the film tries to make you think he had, dropped off the face of the earth and died for the first 45 minutes. We saw it. And then suddenly it's like, oh, he just kind of disappeared and he's fine. Music's somewhere. So we got Leslie Hoban Blake tied with David Sheward at the end of the first round of the Today Yesterday quiz. But anything can happen in round 2, especially since Richard gets our next question directly. So you can tie the game up 3 ways if you get it right, and it's another multiple choice. The year was 1813. So, think back a while ago. On August 12th, 1813, King George III appoints Robert Southey as England's poet laureate. Best known for penning the anti-war poem After Blenheim, Southey had mixed feelings about his honor.
I'm losing you, I can't hear.
Okay, I'll start it again, but this is Richard's question.
Sorry.
This is Richard's question.
I just want to hear it though, sorry.
I'll read it again, obviously, if it comes to you. King George III appoints Robert Southey as England's poet laureate, best known for penning the anti-war poem After Blenheim. Southey had mixed feelings about his honorary gig, but we have no mixed feelings about asking which of these is false about Robert Southey. A, he wrote the most popular and famous version of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. B, the day he became poet laureate, he burned nearly everything he wrote before 1800 because its youthful radicalism conflicted with his new status as a conservative. C, he was Samuel Taylor Coleridge's brother-in-law. Or D, Lord Byron mocked him repeatedly in Don Juan. Only one of these is false.
I would say C.
You would say it's not true that he was Samuel Taylor Coleridge's brother-in-law. False. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Brother-in-law. That's post Great American song. There was a song called Mother-in-Law by that. But no, I'm sorry, Richard. That is not the question because all things are relative, and he really was, in fact.
Okay.
So
I
sorry.
know so.
Hun, Joyce, could you roll the die? We have a 3. David
Oh.
Sheward. Okay, yeah.
All right. What leaps out at me is the Goldilocks, because I thought that was the brother. Maybe it's not the Brothers Grimm. I don't know. But the Goldilocks thing, it doesn't seem, that's so weird and twisted. It must be true.
I've heard that before.
It's so bizarre and unexpected that it doesn't sound like we made it up. And we already have an A. We don't have a D, which was that Byron mocked him in Don Juan. Oh, but I think that the Goldilocks sounds so dumb. It sounds so ridiculous. You know, I'll just go with my gut first reaction, which is the Goldilocks thing.
Is that your final answer?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, David Sheward, I'm afraid your Goldilocks answer is unbearable because that you really did. Robert Southey,
Really?
the version that we know.
Wow.
And the 3 bears. So this is
Makes you wonder what the other versions were.
there were 3 lizards. There was one time there were 4 bears. They took
Did
a
they
while.
try out more
No,
than
the
just
Brothers Grimm, one of them probably ate Goldilocks at the end of the other one.
did they try out the bed in a way we didn't think of?
I don't want to know. I really don't want to know. Leslie Hoban Blake, you have 2 points writing on this. Writing on the bed, actually. So, do you want me to read the?
So I have left that he burned all of his early material because of his new status, and that Lord Byron mocked him.
Right.
Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Now I think David,
I will go with, yes. I didn't hear you, David. What?
I said I thought David was frozen, but you're not frozen, are you, David?
I'm just
No, he
looking.
was frozen for a second there, but not anything that would disturb me. Okay. Lord Byron mocked him. Lord Byron mocked a lot of people, so I would say that he mocked him because he was the poet laureate, and Byron was not.
So we're looking for
The false.
D.
false, Leslie.
What's
A
false?
D.
That he did not
Oh,
mock.
what's false? I'm sorry. Wait. What's false would be that he burned all of his previous material. Sorry about that.
So
Thank you for pointing that out to me. Yes.
Is that your final answer, Leslie?
Yeah, that's my overly thought answer.
We're kind of breaking up verbally as well as visually. That's why we're it's a little bit.
Oh dear, that's because I'm on my phone, guys. I'm sorry.
But let's. I'm assuming that you're saying that B is false, right? That it's not true that he burned.
B is in boy is false.
Well,
Okay.
Oh, sorry guys, I have a burning sensation because Leslie just got herself 2 points. Well done, Leslie. He did not burn his stuff. What happened was when he got kind of famous and he was, protected by the court and stuff, his enemies published a play he wrote in 1794 called Wat Tyler, basically to embarrass him, to show that this guy that is so conservative now and so pro-king was a real anti-tax radical, like when he was young, 20 years ago. So that's what actually happened. Anyway, Leslie Hoban Blake, you are leading in our today, yesterday game. Never notice the worse her reception is, the better she does. If you turn your computer off completely, you'll get like all the points.
Next time I'll play this game on a blackboard. If that's
or 2 tin cans
right.
and a string.
Or a string band, for that matter. Or
I won't even bother with the string, David.
All right. Now, but here's the deal. David Sheward, you have 2 points.
Mm-hmm.
You can tie Leslie if you get this question correct.
Oh, okay. This is question number 5.
Yeah, I guess correct. Yes. Question
Okay.
number 5. And so here's the deal. A lot riding on this question, David, because if you get it right, you tie. If you get it wrong and maybe Richard steals, he can still tie the game. So
Okay.
there's a lot of stuff going on.
Okay. Exciting.
The year was 2016.
All right.
Cannes, the French Riviera city known for its opulent film
Oh,
festival.
can.
Cannes, C-A-N-N-E-S, Cannes.
Okay.
the city known for its opulent film festival and air of decadence, goes the other way today. The mayor instituted a ban today on what? A, bottomless male and female nudity. B, sparkling wine that isn't French champagne. C, burkinis, a line of swimwear. Or D, HBO, because it showed a documentary before it debuted at the festival.
Oh. So which of these is true? Which of these did it ban?
Was banned in 2016.
In Cannes.
In Cannes.
Banned in
Banned in
Cannes.
Cannes. Yeah.
You know, there was a sketch on Laugh-In where Alan Seuss played Toulouse-Lautrec, and Ruth Buzzy played her Gladys character, and she was dreaming, oh, what would it have been like to be married to Toulouse-Lautrec? So she has this dream, and she says to Toulouse, oh, Toulouse, remember when you first met me, and I was in the can. And Alan Seuss says, yes, and I was in the audience.
The laughing joke. Oh, Mr. Peabody.
Well, you know, they had 200 jokes a show.
I think you had to be there.
Yeah,
No,
well,
it's cute. It was for 1970 television, you know.
yeah, 1969 or something, and they had 250 jokes a show, so not all of them can be gems. All right, let's see. We don't have a D. We've had 1A and 2 B's so far, so I'm going to say HBO D.
You're saying it is true that in 2016, Cannes, the French Riviera City banned HBO because it showed a documentary.
Yeah,
before it debuted at the
sure,
festival.
why not?
Final answer?
Yeah.
HBO. Oh my goodness, that is not the correct answer, David.
Okay.
Sheward. So, did not happen. Joyce, I'm going to need you on the die, as it were. The die is cast, and it came up 2. Nobody has 2.
Oh, okay.
So we have another roll. Hold on one moment. 5. Nope. 4. Wait, somebody has Richard. Richard, you can get on the board and be tied with Leslie. You have a shot. So do you need me to read the question again?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
So here's the deal. On this date, on August 12th, 2016, the French Riviera City Cannes, known for its film festival and air of decadence, goes the other way. The mayor instituted a ban today on what? A, bottomless male and female nudity. B, sparkling wine that isn't French champagne. Or C, burkinis, a line of swimwear.
I would go with A.
You're saying it is that the mayor banned bottomless.
Yeah. Yeah.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Richard, the naked truth is that I'm afraid that's not the correct answer.
Okay.
Not that I begrudge
He went
Les.
the other way. He went the other way.
So Les, you can actually take a very, you can actually win the game here. So
I believe that it was a political act because the bikinis are worn by Muslim women and they cover their entire bodies, and then they have a little skirt on the outside. It's like they're wearing a black outfit, long sleeve, long legged, and then they put a little skirt around it to make it a bathing outfit. And
Oh, that's what they
because
are.
the French had also banned the hijab for a while. So I mean, it is a beach city, and Champagne has as much to do with it as swimming does at this point. So I will say the bikini, letter C,
you're saying
which we also haven't had, David.
they banned. That is your final answer, that they banned the burkini.
Yeah,
in 2000.
the bikini, I believe.
Final answer?
Yes. Are you giving me a chance to say champagne? Were you giving me a chance to say champagne?
I
Okay,
always give people that last, option thing, like they do on Wait, Don't Tell Me. So, Leslie, I take my burkinis with an olive and a twist, but we're not twisted here. You just got yourself 2 points. Well done.
Okay.
Leslie technically just won the game. Let me tell you some stuff here, because as Leslie said, the burqa is particularly made for Muslim women so they can swim comfortably.
No, burkini, not burqa. Burqa is the full
burkini.
jam. The burkini is modest swimwear.
Yeah, but it's made for, and what's really nice is cancer patients where they can't get too much sun. So it isn't just Muslim women who wear it, but this was shortly after, it was only a month after a terrible terrorist attack somebody drove a van in and blew up
bikini?
86 people in Nice. And so the mayor of Cannes just said, well, yeah, no, this is not just a piece of swimwear. This is Muslims, doing a political statement. We won't have it, and banned bikinis.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, but it doesn't make any sense because they're French, you know.
Now, technically in Cannes, nudism has been banned since 2009. So the whole thing about the bottomless thing is and in 2018, Cannes actually did ban Netflix because it denied 2 films that debuted at Cannes cinema releases. So once Netflix had the rights to them, it just wasn't put them onto, you can't put them in the theaters.
By the way, you guys have never seen me in my swimsuit, but I wear everything but the little skirt.
Oh, all right.
I mean, I have a long sleeve rash guard, and I have capri length
Well, is that
exercise
because
pants.
of you're afraid of skin cancer, or you've had cancer?
I just don't think it's fair to the world to let them see what I look like, so I hide as much of it as I can.
Leslie, come on. And also back in the day, we were always like an actress kind of model sort of looking kind of person. I assume back then you showed off. I'm guessing.
Yes, even bikinis, not burkinis, but
Wow. I've tried a mankini. It's not something anybody ever wants to see.
Oh, God.
And I made that up. So here's the deal. Leslie, even though Leslie is already the champion this week, she already gets the crown, we still do our remaining questions just because it's...
There is no crown. The crown got lost in the friggin' mail.
Sorry, Leslie, we have another question for you, though, because this question goes directly to you, so you can burnish your lead and get 8 points and not just 6.
Oh, wow.
And you won't mind this one. This is one of your, not your favorites, but it's an okay one for you, because it's change one letter. Okay? So here's the deal. You know how that works. Why? You like change one letter, Leslie. What this question is...
I was saying be still in heart. That was a I'm so happy look. What did it look like?
Good. It's hard because it's
that was like, oh, happy. That was,
Why is Leslie voting?
sorry.
All right, so here's the deal. Just so Richard knows, change one letter is going to ask for 2 different answers, each worth a point apiece. The 2 answers are only 1 letter different from each other. And I give the question in poem form, just to be a jerk. So here's the deal. Leslie, the year was 1907, and it's about an entertainer who was born today in St. Louis. Okay? He was briefly a stooge before turning stinky. Change 1 letter for something small time and dinky.
I need to hear that again. I'm sorry.
Of course. So, born in 1907, an entertainer who was born in St. Louis. He was briefly a stooge before turning stinky. Change 1 letter for something small time and dinky. Oh, Richard might have this one. I started seeing his eyes, maybe. But this is a Leslie question. So
A Leslie question, or is it the?
Leslie, yeah, it's not the tiebreaker. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, Ted Healy introduced the Stooges. There were 3 of them. I can only remember Mo Howard. Oh, Shemp. It was Mo, Shemp, and Larry. Okay. Curly. So somebody went and Curly came in. So we're talking about the guy who left. Okay, so Larry. But none of that has anything to do with being stinky. That's the part I don't get. Stinky and dinky. I have no idea. I think Joe Howard went on to, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Howard, Shemp. I can't make anything out of that. I'm sorry. I don't have to win this, right? I don't have to get this right, right?
You won. Say 2 on the aisle, and we'll explain what that is.
Or you could just say I'm the winner.
2 on the aisle.
Yeah. So, Joyce, if you could kindly roll the die one more time. We have a 4. Who was 4? 4 is Richard. Richard, I sort of saw in your face that you might have this one. I'm going to read the poem again. about an entertainer who was born back in 1907. Was briefly a stooge before turning stinky. Change one letter for something small time and dinky.
Pinky Lee.
Pinky Lee. And what would be your second answer?
Oh,
Or is Pinky Lee would be one, and what would?
yeah, that would be the answer.
So there would be one letter different. The two different answers that you give.
I can't. You can't think. No, I can't.
But you're going with Pinky Lee is certainly
Yeah.
one of your answers. Is that and one of your final answers?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, Richard. That is not the correct.
That's a name from the past.
Well, I know I've heard of him of all things, but it's not what we're looking for. So, David, I think you got the steal on this.
Okay. All right. God, I'm kind of stumped too because I went through in my head all the Stooges, but becoming stinky. Who left the Stooges to become something stinky? Okay, well.
You got it now, right? That's what happened, right?
Joe Besser.
Yeah,
That's
but
David's question, but hold on.
well, I mean, but what? Oh, well, Besser and Lesser.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
So since the game is already won by Leslie, are you okay, David, if I give Richard 1 point, you get 1 point?
Yeah, sure.
So that was well done, Richard. You're getting on the board. It was Joe Besser. Joe Besser was one of the Stooges for a brief time after Curly when Shemp was gone, and he was
Stinky at Abbott and Costello.
Right on. There you go.
Not so hard.
Oh,
And David,
I
yes,
didn't remember his name, and okay, I got you. I know, I can see his face. Yeah, right.
well, Abbott and Costello. That must have been like when did
That
they
was
have a
the
TV?
television show. He wore the schoolboy hat, like little Lord Fauntleroy outfit.
Yeah,
Oh, give you such a hint.
Hard.
Yeah.
But he did that on. I think he did on a lot of different places. Jack Benny also. I
Right.
think,
And also the Joey Bishop show.
yeah, on the Jack Benny show. Yeah.
So well done, Richard. You're on the board with a point. That's so great. David Sheward, you get an extra point. So before we get to our tiebreaker, which we're playing anyway, the final tally is Leslie with 6 points, David Sheward with 3, and Richard Holbrook with 1. So be proud of all of you for getting some pointage. Now, we do have a tiebreaker. Richard, I'm going to ask you, do you have a writing implement? And what do they call the thing you write on? An outplement?
Paper, a pen.
Oh, yeah.
I can get a pen right now.
An old empty envelope from a bill. That's what I usually write it on.
Okay. I'll be right back.
Something with your social security number on it.
Yes, very clearly.
Yeah.
So we could all see it at the same time.
Yes.
Did I tell you that I almost got scammed by somebody calling?
Last week you said something about that. What happened?
Did I? Okay, yes.
No,
And I
you
went to
tell
the
us.
bank and I thought, oh my God, there's no money left. I was scammed. And then when we went through it, I realized they were all things that I had done that month.
Oh,
I just spent a lot of money.
so you didn't get scammed at
I
all.
was
You
on the
scammed
phone
yourself.
with the woman. Yeah, saying, yes, that was mine. Yes, that was mine. And we sort of started laughing at the same time.
Whoops.
I just spent a lot of money last month. That's all.
It happens. So here's the deal. The tiebreaker, Richard, works a little bit differently because we want everybody to answer it at the same time. The way we do that is like Final Jeopardy, where I'll read the question, you write down your answer, and then I'll read the question again. I'll give a countdown of 3, 2, 1, and then you will hold your answer up to the camera, all three of you at the same time, which makes it fair.
Okay.
David, it's exactly like Final Jeopardy.
Okay. Well, no,
We don't do it in the
no.
form of a question.
I'm sorry, what?
We don't do it in the form of a question.
And also, honestly, when they write it all down, he goes from 1 to 1 to 1. You don't know what the other two have written down until, whereas we show it all at the same time. So there, it's a little different. Anyway.
Yeah, that's your Joe Besser. You just did.
Oh, we have the lollipop. Remember that? Anyway, so
So you-
I'm sorry. It's a fill in the blank answer. So you're going to write down the answer, not a multiple choice or anything like that. And it's about someone who was born August 12th, 1925. Okay. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Born today in England were twin boys, Norris and Ross McWhirter. Their father's background in journalism and their own interest in sports led to the creation of what perennial bestseller?
May I hear the question again? I'm sorry. I'm just
I know
having a.
the audio. So born today, 1925, in England, were twin boys, Norris and Ross McWhirter. Their father's background in journalism and their own interest in sports led to the creation of what perennial bestseller?
Okay.
Now I'll give you another few seconds to write something down. Because Leslie started writing immediately. David, something dawned on him when I read it the second time. Oh no, Leslie is now cogitating, which I'm surprised she's doing that on camera.
This is my cogitating pose. Yes.
Oh my goodness, his mom's nickname was Bunty.
Oh, like from
That's a
Father
real
Brown,
nickname.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize that was a real nickname.
I'm going to ask to write something down, guys. Richard, have you written anything yet?
Yeah, I don't.
I think I know what it is, but I don't know what it's called. I mean, I'm confused. So.
David is smiling and nodding.
Yeah. Now I know.
Thank you, David.
You didn't win this week. Too
But
bad.
it's too late. Now I know it.
All right.
Hmm.
We'll get to our final moment of the thing, and I'll also promote.
Give me 1 second. I'm just writing something.
Yeah.
This is like
And
that
my pen
moment-
ran out of ink. Hold
If
on.
I were Charles Nelson Riley, then I could say something clever to Leslie, and then we could be like bread and butter, a match game.
Look what Joyce got.
Yes,
me.
and if I were Charles Nelson Riley, it would be funny. Go ahead.
They work too.
I came up with something. I don't know.
Dun, dun,
They don't work
dun,
that well, but they work.
dun, 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 dun.
It's whenever you want. I'm ready. Was
Dumb
that,
Dora
was that
was-
teeth?
Dumb Dora was so dumb.
How dumb was she? Yeah, well,
How
because
dumb
the
was
Mexican
she?
Border blank.
I missed the blank. I missed that, Dave. Sorry.
She was so dumb. She thought the Mexican border blank.
The Mexican border was someone who was staying for free.
The guy who lived in the back room, right,
Yeah.
David?
Or paid rent.
Got it.
Right.
Richard, you're writing something down.
Fine.
Richard is searching his phone.
David, those aren't dad jokes. Those are granddad jokes.
Well, that was actually a Foghorn Leghorn joke.
Was it really? Oh. Okay. All right, I'm gonna read the question,
Would you-
and then I'm gonna give a 3, 2, 1 countdown, and then hold up whatever you've got. If you don't
Okay.
know it, write down the name of your show or what you need to promote, and we'll just use that as your answer. The year was 1925. Born today in England were twin boys Norris and Ross McWhirter. Their father's background in journalism and their own interest in sports led to the creation of what perennial bestseller? 3, 2, 1. Hold them up. Hold them up. I've got David Sheward with Guinness Book of World Records. I've got Leslie with Book of World Records. Okay, and I can't see your thing.
Oh, it's like loneliness of the long distance runner. Sorry.
Wow, that's an interesting. I like the way your mind works. I get it. The sports.
Yeah.
I like that answer a lot.
Well done. However, yes, both. I'm edging towards David because he had the Guinness in there, but yes, it is the Book of World Records created by Norris and Ross McWhirter. And as Joyce pointed out, I don't know if you knew this, they were twins, and it was one of them, it was Ross McWhirter, in 1975 was shot to death by the IRA.
Oh my
Oh.
God.
I
Yeah.
knew the name Ross McWhirter jumped out at me, but I couldn't imagine why. Okay.
Yeah, I remember
Huh.
having that book when I was a kid, and they would have a new edition every year.
Right, right.
Remember the picture of Robert Earl Hughes? That was the thing everybody first remembered. Like the
What,
most.
why was it Guinness? Did Guinness sponsor it? Is that why it's called the Guinness Book of World Records? And they
Maybe.
did the work or what? They weren't Guinnesses, they were McWhirter.
Yeah,
don't know.
Joyce is looking that up. I don't know
I'm gonna
why. Maybe in the early days it wasn't even called
The
Guinness.
Guinness Book of World Records.
No, the Guinness people probably put out the money for it to be printed and then or something like that, took back a piece of the action or something.
It was conceived as an idea by Hugh Beaver, an industrialist and managing director of Guinness Brewery. To
Ah.
celebrate requests among bar patrons. Thank you.
Ah,
Thank
so
you,
it was the
yeah.
first bar like Trivial Pursuit.
Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you.
It was,
Now,
it was Miss Google.
let me thank all of you guys.
Thank you to Google.
First of all, we gotta do our champion. All hail Leslie Hoban,
Yay.
the winner of today's quiz. Now,
Yay.
I have my little crown. I'll put it on like a spectator.
Uh-huh.
You know.
wear it to the theater this afternoon when you go see it.
I will. I'm going to do that. And then the person behind me will say, "Excuse me, can you remove your crown, please?"
So, Leslie, tell us though that you are the co-host of a show called Two on the Aisle, which people
Two on the Aisle, which is back on the air in the studio. And this week, last night I saw Rock and Roll Man, which I liked very much.
Oh.
An old friend of mine plays Hoover. Did you see that one, David?
I'm seeing it on Wednesday.
Okay. Bob Harris is just a terrific character guy, and I love him dearly. I've worked with him. Not the lead in the show, but nonetheless a lot of fun. And never mind. My friend and I had a tag thing that we said back and forth, but I don't want to ruin it for you. And we saw Back to the Future. I don't know if I'd seen that last week or not. I don't remember. And then, as I say, the shark thing today. Next week is Here Lies Love, finally, because Connie Rickamora took off to get, so I didn't get to see the show.
Are you going to be able to see here? Don't you have to stand through Here Lies Love or something like
You
that?
can sit.
No. They have a seating area.
Yeah.
You get to sit at a table, but you don't get to stand up, and the standing people don't get to sit down. That's the rule.
I'll take the chair. Thank you very much. But
I got the chair, baby.
I'm reminding people that you can see Two on the Aisle by going to the YouTube channel Two on the Aisle and looking also for Charles Gross. And you can see both full episodes and also the clips of the reviews that they do of these theater
That's
things.
it. Yeah, I don't have to remind them because you just did. Thank you.
So, Richard Holbrook, I'm going to remind everybody that they can see you live and in person singing songs from the Great American Songbook on this Tuesday night at 54 Below. The show is called 20 Plus 3 in 2023. A show that we're supposed to be doing just right around the pandemic. Finally, you get to do it. Jeff Harner directing, is it who Nelson? John?
Nelson Trio, and he's been a musical director. And it's an anniversary, 23 anniversary of me singing in New York with Tom Nelson, my musical director, and also my 10th year anniversary of my surgery and recovery from jaw cancer. So,
yeah.
Wow.
So, Richard Holbrook, get your tickets, 54below.com.
Wonderful.
And David Sheward, of course. Now, David, you're writing for, first of all, the blog, The David Desk. I just saw you have a new one about Carol Burnett. So
Yes.
talk us through.
Oh, well, that I did. On the blog, I reconstruct the Carol Burnett show because it's one of the few shows that is in like bits and pieces all over the place. And I've always find it interesting that other shows are like, you have the whole show all together, but Carol Burnett is like, because they chopped it up into half hours for syndication. And there's still material out there that no one has seen in
PBS has been showing the full-length Carol Burnett shows on Channel 21 in New
Right.
York.
I
Oh, yes.
watched them too.
Some of them, yes, but there are still ones that we still haven't seen all of them. Yes, I've seen some of them. Yeah.
And they're priceless.
Oh yes. And this week I did a litlittle bit in the tangent of that. there were 3 versions of Once Upon a Mattress on television.
Oh.
So I did a compare and contrast how they're different. And interestingly, the first one in 1964 was in black and white, and it was sponsored by Lipton Tea. And there's a commercial with Carol as Winifred getting a late night snack and drinking Lipton tea.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And I just want to let you know, I ran into Jane White years ago.
Oh, really?
When the most recent one, I think Whoopi Goldberg was in the
Whoopi did Cinderella.
the
recent mattress. Carol played the Wicked Queen.
Okay, yes, okay. And the thing is, I mentioned to Jane White, it's not the same. It didn't have, and she looked at me, she said, "Dear, it didn't have George Abbott."
Ah.
I mean,
Mr. Abbott directed until he was 107,
Yeah.
I believe.
Yes, and he directed the original stage show, and the revival was by Kathleen Marshall.
Yeah.
Which was not in front of a studio audience. It was more like a film.
Yeah.
So and it was toned down as a result, which may be another.
Right.
But her dancing.
Now, is it true that Sutton Foster is bringing it back?
She's doing it for encores.
Oh, just for encores.
Yes, I heard that.
Well, for now, you never know with encores. It could be,
January.
you know, yeah.
I can't see her as Winifred. I'm sorry.
I can. She's
Unless everybody else is 5'6", I cannot see her in that show at all.
She's versatile. She's very versatile.
Yes, I know that. I'm well aware of that. But
I can see her doing it. Oh, and I will have reviews of the Shark is Broken and Back to the Future. Which struck me as a theme park ride, or very similar to one. When I got into the theater, I said, "This is just like being in Universal Studios in Orlando."
Well, Broadway does that every couple of. They had King Kong. You know,
Yeah.
Harry Potter on some level is kind of they're going there. That's
one other thing I wanted to mention was that there is a very funny Joe Besser. Since we're talking about Joe Besser.
Oh, Besser, yes, tell me.
It's a very funny Joe Besser reference in a Bugs Bunny cartoon where Daffy and Bugs are running from Elmer Fudd, and they dive into the hole, and then Elmer sticks his gun in the hole, and Bugs comes up and says, "Look, Doc, do you want to get in trouble shooting a rabbit with an elephant gun?" "Elephant gun? Yeah. So go out and shoot yourself an elephant." And this big effeminate elephant appears behind Elmer and says, "You do, and I'll give you such a pinch." Drives him into the ground and puts his hands on his hips and walks off. And when I saw that in college, they would show movies on Friday nights and a Warner Brothers cartoon just before it, and the audience just laughed for 10 minutes after that.
Oh my God.
Yay.
But those also were priceless cartoons. I mean, they were so risque at times.
Yes.
It was yeah. Well, I could just pinch all of you because you're so wonderful.
Don't
So,
pinch your guests.
well, it's just digitally. It's a digital pinch for Richard Holbrook, who's going to be at 54 Below on Tuesday night. Digital pinch for Leslie Hoban Blake, who's on 2 on the Aisle. Digital pinch for David Sheward, who writes for Total Theater, culturaldaily.com, theaterlife.com, and his blog, David Desk.
I just want to say one thing. Even though I didn't get the answers correctly, it was a pleasure being in the company of all of you. And I
Thank you.
Oh, and you as well.
Lots of
Thank you
fun.
so much, Richard.
Lots
It's
of fun.
lovely.
Everybody, just like you're on Match Game or one of those shows, where do they play?
The dating game.
Thank you, guys. I got to let you go one by one. So great to have you all in the Daverhood. Have a wonderful week.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And have a great week, Leslie. And
You too, darling. Bye-bye. Bye, Joyce.
Congratulations on the quiz. And we are here. Okay, we're good. Yes, we are still
Do you think
live.
that any more guests will pop in your waiting room?
Oh my God. What a great show, though.
But isn't what I find the most interesting
Yeah.
is that they knew each other.
Because it's
That was
such a
so-
small.
yeah.
What,
But
it's
that was so weird. It's like, oh yeah, this person just popped in. Oh yeah, I knew him. Blah blah blah. I was like, wow. What an
It's-
amazing story with the cancer survivor. That's like, because I would wonder, like, if your main thing is singing, not only talking, you can learn to talk again, but to sing is a whole other set of,
And I'm not sure.
yeah.
What I love again, I always love the serendipity of the show, and but things that have nothing to do with each other suddenly. So if you think about it, Richard Holbrook, he's performing, so we have him on the show, and the Broadway show that opened a couple of days ago that Leslie's seeing today, and David Sheward will be writing about is called "The Shark Is Broken," which is the story of Steven Spielberg, going through all the tribulations of filming the movie.
Oh, Jaws. Whoa.
So we have a man who had jaw cancer, had half of his jaw replaced, and go figure, Jaws. I know it's just sheer coincidence.
I think that's one. He was such a wonderful man. He was really a gentleman.
Oh, absolutely, and gotta give it up for Nancy Redman too,
Yeah,
who is
she
such
was really
a.
spunky, like
she's-
funky.
We're having her back. We're having both of them back, but oh my God,
She was just like full of like, just a really like a good time.
Yes.
Such
Yes.
a good time, lady.
For a good time, call Nancy Redman.
No,
When they
see her show. Don't.
Anyway, speaking of shows, this is the 907th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife Joyce. We have Oscar here, Oscar Baby Grouch, along of course
What
with
about your favorite?
Melvin G. Mintz is here, and don't throw at my eyes. Okay. Oh, and of course from last week the flying chicken.
Where did I get the chickens? Oh, I know where I got them.
Usual place,
No,
right?
no, I didn't get it at school. I got
Oh
it.
no, we got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do one. Watch your eyes, dear.
Whoa!
Good one.
That was a good one.
Oh, and look at my. Joyce is always jealous of me because I often, not always, but I usually take a decent photo. I got it.
Oh, your passport. Well, you should wear that shirt for your passport.
Well, no, it works out. Look at.
Great.
I'm not a handsome person, but I'm cute in my way.
Handsome.
Look at that. Is that a great shot
Whoever
or
took
what?
it, well, they must have been like a headshot photographer.
No, it was just a postal worker.
Oh, God.
She was like coming in the back room. I'm like, okay.
Whoa, there you go. That probably got you very happy.
And this should get me into like lots of different countries.
Did I tell you I'm making? I put bread. What time was your first interview?
Unexpectedly at 9:30.
Okay, because I put the bread in that.
Yeah.
So about 9:30,
11:30, 12:30, 1:30. About 2 o'clock it'll be ready. Yeah. Joyce makes homemade whole wheat bread.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool. Anyway, we have because of the guests, because of the quiz, we haven't really done that much on the show. We still have Greeley Crimes Old Times.
Which is the one they stopped? Did they stop the?
What?
They stopped the crimes or the old times? They stopped one of them.
Oh, the Old Times.
Oh yeah, okay.
Because and I checked again yesterday.
I gotta get my thing. Hold on.
We call it Greeley Crimes Old Times because there are two columns, or there used to be two
Yeah.
columns,
It's so
in
sad.
the Greeley Tribune newspaper, a real regular newspaper up in northern Colorado. Well, I'm complaining. Old Times was great.
Did they just run out of old times?
No, I think the person who did it,
Just gave up.
because the guy who did it there, a fellow named Mike Peters, who's been
He
on the
probably
show.
Just did it free, like.
Oh yeah, and he also had a column called the Gnarly Trombone
Did he stop
that he
that?
wrote for years. It's on hiatus, let's call, as opposed to.
Okay.
I told you that around Father's Day, his daughter wrote the Gnarly Trombone column
Oh, I
and did a
don't
tribute
remember.
to him, and said, "Hey, he's not saying he's
Yeah, got it.
no, he's fine. Well, Happy Father's Day, Dad." People
Oh.
ask me, "Hey, what's it like being the daughter of Mike Peters?"
Yeah, I can imagine it's awesome.
And again, people are missing his column, but he's taking a break. So I don't know if there's an underlying.
Yeah.
He's taking a break because.
Or maybe he's just taking a break.
Maybe he's just taking a break. Maybe he's just after 40 years journalism,
It's
you get a
lot of
little.
work,
Yeah. But the problem for us is
Or
that
maybe he's writing another book.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, he's writing a book.
Or revising the one he did. Who knows?
Yeah, we don't know.
But he hasn't done the 100 years ago column for the Greeley Tribune since like April at this point.
Okay.
So we've run out of them. There's no more Old Times at this stage. But
they're
we
still really crying.
We still have the cop log. Thank you, Morgan McKenzie. She gathers together from police blotters, from the cop log, this is literally what they call it in the paper, phone calls that come into the police dispatch of Greeley, Weld County, Evans, Northern Colorado. Not like serious or boring or dull thing. Oh, this was reported and somebody broke a window. And no, there's like people see weird things, people do weird things. And the funniest ones go into the paper every week in a column they call Greeley Cop Log. We get the funniest ones, share them with you as well. Plus we mix them up with things that are weird news from elsewhere too. And what do we call that, hon? What is the name of that segment?
Greeley Crimes and used to be old times.
Yeah, Greeley Crimes and Old Times, ladies and gentlemen, here on this Saturday morning, August 12th, 2023. So the crimes, we call them crimes, but half the time it's not crimes being committed.
They call it that, but
it's really a caller saying,
yeah.
hey, police, this might be a crime. You might want to take a look at it. So,
I got some stuff going on, yeah.
So here we go. This is what we got going on this week. Are you ready? Are you ready, hon? Are you ready for criminal? I want to hear it in your voice. I want to hear,
Okay, hold on.
I want some criminality. See, I don't have the metabolism anymore, but I've got the energy. I got Screaming Goat. Ready for some crime.
Where's the thing that I'm looking for? Do you have it?
I don't have any of the noisemakers. I have the air horn.
That's what you do that.
Oh, yeah. So we begin with a crime. A caller near 11th Street reported seeing a younger male in colorful pajama pants
Oh, Elmo.
yelling at someone on the phone with a rifle in his hand. And by the way, I love the writing on this because it's unclear whether the person he was yelling at had the rifle, which would be a really stupid thing to do, or if he himself had the rifle. But I think it's
very confusing.
Yeah.
I hope he's okay.
well, this young man in colorful pajamas yelling at someone on the phone, had a rifle in his hand, and the rifle turned out to be a Nerf gun.
Oh, he
Oh,
was probably a baby.
yeah, he was probably like a 4-year-old,
He was
right?
probably at a slumber party. Like, Mom, you're supposed to pick me up at 7. It's 7:30, and I'm out here in my jammies with my Nerf gun.
Yeah. I gotta say though, I mean, they gotta stop making guns that look even
Yeah,
remotely
but Nerf
like
guns don't look like guns.
at all. They
No.
come from far away.
No,
A
they
cop.
shoot little sponges.
I know what they do, but
Yeah, but they
if,
look. They're usually blue and yellow. They're like
Yeah.
odd colors. Yeah.
actually, if I were a criminal, I would paint my rifle
Oh God.
yellow and pastel blue. I mean, you could paint the barrel of a
Yeah,
gun.
but people can see it. People know the shape. I mean, people are trying.
That'd be a great way to just walk into a store and say, "Oh, he's just got a toy gun."
I think they're probably,
Now, a caller near 11th Street said 2 men were harassing people for money. Okay. One had a bag of chips and tried to open the caller's car door, which is, if you're trying to get into a car that doesn't belong to you, it's hard enough. If you're holding a bag of potato chips, I imagine that makes it even harder. I'm just guessing.
Wow. I bet you're hungry. Sometimes you're hungry.
The other man
Yeah.
was on the ground and playing his guitar.
What the heck?
This is not even Bonnie and Clyde. This is...
He's on the ground playing his guitar.
Yeah.
Maybe
These are the men who are harassing people. Well, for money, okay, but I get the guy in the guitar,
Yeah.
putting money in the hat.
Yeah. Like,
How is the other
what
person
do they
like
call it? Not strumming. They call it when you do
busking?
that.
Busking, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
And by the way, that was this year's Greeley Bonnaroo Festival.
No, that was the new Woodstock. What's the one we saw on the island for
That was a fire festival.
Fire Festival.
Oh, God. We have another caller.
Okay,
We have a caller. I'll get it. A caller on 27th Street said his mother
Yeah.
would not give him his social security number or card.
Wow.
So, of course, he calls the police. I guess he had social insecurity, if you
You're
know.
just like, then you call like a family mediator
I know,
or
you-
somebody.
Yeah.
But I guess you don't know who to call. I
Who
don't
you
know.
gonna- I wonder if you go on the Social Security website and I've lost my password, who am I? I don't know.
No, but I wonder if like they might say because that you need that to do everything.
Well, yeah, last part of your
That's
social.
complicated.
Although you can, if you lose your social, you can get another one, and it's a different number, right?
Yeah,
Or no?
This sounds like
same, yeah.
this sounds like a young person.
Yep, yeah, probably. Well, yeah, one assumes an 80-year-old would not be having sex with his mother. Ma! Ma! I can't, she's sitting on it and she hasn't moved in 5 days.
Okay, I'm ready for the next. Let's hit it.
A caller on 8th Street, but not 8th and 8th.
8th and
A
8th.
caller on 8th Street was very upset and vulgar about someone lighting up a cigarette.
Vulgar. What?
Oh.
That sounds like a really old time.
I know.
Somebody lit up and she said, "You simple hussy,
Well,
you
since it was
ruffian."
could have been calling them a butthead.
I
Dang
think
it,
they
dang it.
said, "You ruffian, you so uncouth."
It's interesting. You can never smoke at Green Acres. You can never smoke at Roosevelt Field. Only place you can smoke, the Pall Mall. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry about that. Yeah. One more. A woman from a fashion store at the Greeley Mall said her employee, created coupons to give out items to customers for free.
Oh.
What, talk about sabotage, right? She wanted to know if she could fire the employee. Yes. So your employee goes rogue and starts giving people coupons like, come in, that television set, oh,
Free to you.
it's free today. But you have to bring back this coupon. It's like, yeah,
That's not good.
and I'm guessing, yeah, why save the middleman of allowing shoplifting?
I like that. Maybe who knows? She thought it was a good sales pitch. Maybe there was this slow,
Actually, if I were an employee and was really sorry, yeah, here's 10% off.
Yeah, but I don't think you
have to run it by the boss, though.
They
Yeah.
probably have limited ability.
All right, let's go elsewhere.
Okay.
Let's find an item of news that isn't from northern Colorado, but somewhere else in the world. For example, this is from Fortune magazine. And Fox Business covered this as well. Well, Trader Joe's, which is all over the place,
Oh no.
recalled 2 more products this week. Among them,
Oh no.
no, it's not that bad. No, it's in some ways it's not as bad, but it's bad. Trader Joe's recalled last week. I don't know if you know this. Look in your freezer. Fully cooked falafel, which the store admits
Oh no.
may contain rocks. I don't know why I find that hysterical.
That's not good.
Your food may contain rocks.
No, but you could break your teeth.
Of course,
I mean,
yeah.
That's
But how the hell? How?
falafel. Falafel's meat.
They
right?
are rocks. They're
I could
balls of
see-
meat.
I could see beans, beans. So maybe some it got mixed up in the chickpeas.
Yeah, but where would rocks come from?
I don't know.
That's the thing. Is why would rocks get into falafel?
I think the production line.
Yeah, well, but is someone like emptying their shoe
I don't
onto
know.
the? I just love the idea. A previous recall took their cookies off the market too, also because of rocks.
I don't understand why they're putting rocks in everything.
I don't know.
Is that some kind of new diet plan, like paleo? You eat rocks.
Well, no, that diet rocks. No, I don't know. And paleo. I get it. That's good. Meanwhile, last Thursday, Trader Joe's said
Oh no.
it was alerted by its supplier that Trader Joe's unexpected.
What? Unexpected.
I'm sorry. Trader Joe's unexpected broccoli cheddar soup
Yeah.
may contain insects.
Well, that's the unexpected.
And let's face it, how unexpected is that really?
Maybe from the broccoli.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe you have to watch these things carefully. Things crawl.
Yeah.
You never, and there's a certain amount of insectage parts
So you mean
allowing
above the
anything.
normal allowance of insects?
Yeah. Well, they probably found actual crickets and
Oh, geez.
crawling over them or something.
That's horrible.
And personally, I would also avoid Trader Joe's dill-cured smoked salmon.
Yeah.
Because it's literally called gravel locks. Oh, I am on today. today. I am on today, aren't I? Ah, my God. Can I do one more elsewhere? Let's do one more.
If you got it.
I got it.
Because, oh, that's elsewhere. You got elsewhere. That's you.
This is an elsewhere, and it's from West Hartford, Connecticut. It's a story from the Associated Press. A Connecticut man. I mean, what people think of to have chicanery. If only we could all make that kind of money legally and do that. So this is what this guy thought of. A Connecticut man was given nearly $300,000 in fraudulent Home Depot credit.
What do you mean? Oh, they made a mistake. Yeah,
No, that's on them. I mean, it's on him to give it back because he knows it's. But no. Here's how Alexandra Enrique Costa Mota, age 26, was detained without bail after a judge entered a not guilty plea on his behalf for wire fraud. Costa Mota allegedly would enter the store dressed like a contractor.
Oh, yeah.
He would then go to the door department and load a bunch of expensive doors onto his empty cart, his lumber cart. Then he would go to the service desk and return the doors saying he forgot the receipt. This is because Home Depot's so freaking big. He would literally go, grab doors, and then make believe he had purchased them before.
I'm surprised nobody caught
They have cameras in these places. Right? He was then given store credit, which he would redeem at other Home Depots.
Wow.
Genius. Or if the return was denied, he would just take the doors without paying and return them to another store.
But what I don't get is, but there's no purchase. Wouldn't they?
He said he forgot his receipt.
And
they
say
believed
that they're
him.
still not paid for, right? Would there be some reason?
Well, in other words, he's not getting cash. He's not getting money, but he's getting store credit at all these other Home Depots. He did this in Rhode Island, Connecticut, Massachusetts, Maine, Maryland, Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey.
A lot of people do that.
About 370 times he got away with this.
That's a lot of work.
And the fact that he was able to just go take this merchandise, go to the desk, saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, but can I?" And either they would say, "Here's credit," or "Sorry, so okay, I'm fine. I'll bring them home. I guess I can't cash them in." But he was caught. As for Home Depot's return policy, he did have to show a valid driver's license, so he carried fake driver's licenses to prove that he was himself.
That's an elaborate whatever.
I know, but it's just to think of this and do it again and again. Not just to get away with it once for the thrill or to make a score of a couple $100, but to do this to make $300,000 over the course of years.
You're not getting money back. You're just getting Home Depot.
Well, let's say maybe he really is a contractor, and it's allowing him to buy.
I see what you're saying.
X, Y. You could furnish an entire house with what he did, just stealing doors. Brilliant. It's typical with him. He found an opening, and granted, I've heard he's a bit of a knob, but don't knock him. Do we get these? These are, no. All right. Anyway, let's do one or two more of Greeley Crimes, and then get on to the Limerick and to finishing up this really delightful episode of Dave's Gone By. So, okay, one more actual recent crime from Greeley and northern Colorado. Where are they? Where? Get rid of this page. Okay. Here we go. An employee near 8th Avenue said a man with a shirt tied around his head kept throwing his bike across traffic, which I think is really the worst Olympic sport ever. There's nothing really to say about that. Although he couldn't do that at Cannes because he was topless. But one last one. A caller on 9th Avenue said, doesn't it say everything about people in religion? A caller on 9th Avenue said the homeless people camping out in the church's parking lot were, quote, not welcome at the church.
What?
Because that's what Jesus would say. And it's like, you're unwashed, you're probably not white American, you go back where you came from. And now let's all go in and pray and give to the collection plate. Wah, 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 wah. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Dave Sound By, and that was Greeley Crimes.
Check and make sure you don't have more guests in the waiting room.
No, I think I would see it. But,
Okay, good. Just double check.
Greeley Crimes Old Times.
Mr. Horace Greeley was no fool. I'm sure that you'll agree with me that Greeley was no fool.
What he is getting at is that Mr. Greeley was no fool.
Yippee-yi.
Yippee-yi, 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 yi, yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi, yippee-yi.
Oh, ladies and germs, you are watching the 907th episode of the show with me, Teeth, my darling and beloved, adorable wife, Joyce.
I was looking to see if the bread machine automatically turns on.
Rubber chicken. Does it go to warm or something? I can't imagine just burn the bread. It'll stop, and you just kind of leave it in there. Might get dry or something, but yeah, within a couple of minutes, won't be a big deal.
I'm going to ask about Cuisinart. Hold on.
Mm.
Will my Cuisinart bread machine turn off automatically?
According to the gadgeteer, at the end of the heat-warm cycle, the unit will emit one long beep and then it will shut off.
Right,
Okay.
there it goes. So you're fine with it, even if we happen to be out of the house or something like that. What a delightful show. We still have a few more minutes to go, and we have God help us, we have our Limerick. But let me thank some folks, and let me be so grateful for the kinds of people that we bring into the Daverhood. For example, gotta give a big, big, big thank you to two new friends of the Daverhood. Nancy Redman, go see her play A Seance with Mom. It's a one-woman show where she plays all these really cool different characters. It's funny, but it's also serious, and you can see it running from August 21st through September 3rd at the Chain Theater in Midtown Manhattan. That's over between 8th and 9th Avenue on West 36th Street. So go see it, A Seance with Mom, which, by the way, is directed by our friend Austin Pendleton. So Pendleton alert! No, we have Austin Pendleton alerts. So there we go. So that's happening. It's not this week, but August 21st, which is about 10 days away. So go see that. It's already been running for weeks, and they just keep bringing it back. So go see it. And it's like a 30, 40 seat venue. So you're right up on top of it. And you're not sitting in the boonies in a Broadway theater paying $300 to experience a carnival ride. You're actually watching a person and a play. Anyway, speaking of watching someone perform, by all means, everybody go see Richard Holbrook, who is going to be at 54 Below on Tuesday night, doing his show 20+3 in 2023, directed by our other friend, Jeff Harner. It's happening 54below.org. I want to thank also, Rabbi Sol Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches.
Richard just wrote and said,
Hi,
Dave, I've connected to your Zoom room. I am waiting for you to connect me. Okay, no, that's all.
Oh, yeah, I hope you can write that just now.
No,
Yeah.
10 o'clock,
Yeah.
He's back. He's like,
back. We can't get rid of him now. And
he
then,
was a lovely guest.
yeah, both of
They
them.
were just a lovely combo.
And what about Rabbi Sol Solomon?
Yeah, but I feel bad for him because he didn't realize he would have all that work. Normally, he doesn't like to,
Yeah, he doesn't. You don't like to surprise Rabbi Sol Solomon.
No, he's not very good. He likes to practice. I mean, he forgets everything and he yells.
He
but
yells, yeah.
When sometimes when he has to go on the fly, he gets very agitated.
Yeah, he accidentally last week put rocks in his falafel. It did not go.
I feel bad for people because that's bad because you can break your teeth.
Yeah.
I once had what was Esther at Sizzler and I bit. It was like plexiglass and
Ooh.
something. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
I found little bits of plastic when I've gone out to eat, very rarely.
Yeah.
And the occasional hair.
No, but if you have allergy to whatever a bug is, like some people have bug allergies, and then you buy the soup because you're like, oh, it's vegetarian, and then you eat it and you could get sick. That's what scares me. Like, not for anybody, but people could get.
You never know, or if things are mislabeled, or They don't tell kids, you know, oh yeah, this was made in a
Remember at
peanut
our
facility.
So our friend Nihal and G, they were having a party for Iskandar for a promote. I don't remember. I think it was Iskandar.
Yeah.
And everybody was eating the cake. It was like some fancy cake. It wasn't ice cream. It was a fancy cake. And a little boy was there with his nanny, and he looks at me and he said, "Are there nuts in this cake? Like whatever."
After he eaten half of it.
Yeah. And I was like, I have no idea. And I was like, oh my God. And I looked at the nanny and she gave me a look of horror. And then I went and asked Nihal and G, but I was like, I don't know.
And it turned out it was okay.
I don't know. Or
wasn't
the
it?
ice cream. He was eating something. And I was like, and one time I was on a plane and I was eating mixed nuts and the kid next to me is like, you can't eat that. I have a peanut allergy. And I'm thinking, you know, and I said,
Move!
No, I'm not.
Well,
gonna-
brat.
I said, even the smell of it. And I was like, I said to the kid, if you're so allergic, they need to tell everyone on the plane it's a peanut-free flight because, and I didn't have peanuts in the trail mix, it was on their nuts, but I was like.
Oh, so it was, because I'd be like, yeah, hey, I paid for my seat. I'm not feeding them to you. Go away.
Something about like I don't know, but if somebody's that severely allergic, they've got to, and I said to him, do you have an EpiPen? He said, yeah.
Oh.
So the whole flight, I thought, well, I'm going to have to EpiPen this kid. Like, this was my.
I mean, well, if he was being a jerk, you know, I'd rub the peanuts in my hand while he was sleeping.
No,
Ah!
no, I know what it's like to. We both have
No,
allergies.
yeah,
It's not
oh,
a good
absolutely.
time.
It's no fun.
Yeah.
Rabbi Sol is allergic to everything. He's allergic to goyim.
I think he's allergic to himself.
Oh, yeah, certainly. But you can find out more about him by going to his website, shalomdammit.com. Shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com. This is, he was talking about the show that he did, An Evening with Rabbi Sol Solomon, Shalom Dammit. You can see that at shalomdammit.com. It was filmed. You can also watch the TV show that he did for Long Island Cable TV about a decade or so ago, also called Shalom Dammit, and all his rabbinical reflections, shalomdammit.com. Plus, there are links to all the interviews that he's done on this program. So it's all things Solomonic. Go get yourself solemnized at shalomdammit.com. So those are and let's not forget Leslie Hoban Blake of Two on the Aisle, and David Sheward, writer for culturaldaily.com, theaterlife.com, and totaltheater.com. Those are the folks who are on the show today. But what about people who have been on this program in the past? What are they up to? So who are our friends in the neighborhood? These are people who've been on the program for months or maybe years ago. And we're wondering, hey, how are they doing? What are they doing? For example, tonight, speaking of 54 Below, you can see Ann Hampton Calloway,
Wow.
the voice of the Song of the Nanny. That's Ann Hampton Calloway. You can see her 54 Below.
How'd she get that gig?
I don't know. Maybe she knew Fran Drescher, or maybe she knew the producers of the program. And she had the right voice, you know, the nanny. Playing now through next weekend. If you happen to be in Los Angeles, go see the play A Black and White Cookie by our friend Gary Morgenstein. It's at 905 Theater in Los Angeles. Or if you're on the other side of the country, if you happen to be in Sarasota, Florida, Florida Studio Theater is doing Ken Ludwig's play, A Comedy of Tenors. So he's the guy who wrote Lend Me a Tenor. This is kind of a sequel to that. So you can see it in Florida now through next Sunday. Playing now to the end of August, we've got Michael Tucker's comedy, A Tailor Near Me, at New Jersey Repertory Theater in Long Branch. Or you can also see Gabriel Barry directing Here You Come Again at the Paper Mill
Get
Playhouse.
snooze for your animal?
Oh, what is that? What? Snooze? Why? Why?
It's an ad, David. It's an ad.
This is an ad for something you can get for a pet. They're snoods. These are what Orthodox women wear, but you can put them on your dog until the dog bites your hand off. We're going, do not put a fucking snoot. Don't put the snoot. I will find the vein.
Look up more pet snooze for you.
Yeah. Pet snoods.
Who knew? Grizzly bear snood, fox snood, bunny snood,
Bunny snood.
giraffe snood,
Oh.
alien zoo snood, black bear snood, panda snood, a lot of stuff.
A lot of snoods. Oh. Well, I do like snudity in films. But anywho, Tova Feldshuh is in Funny Girl. on Broadway at the August Wilson Theater. That is running only for another 3 weeks. It's closing first week of September. So if you haven't gotten your tickets to see her and Leah Michelle in Funny Girl, well, now's your chance. Lilias White is in Hadestown at the Walter Kerr Theater. Alan Menken wrote the music for Aladdin on Broadway, Little Shop of Horrors off Broadway. So congratulations to him on that. Back to cabaret. People like Richard Holbrook include K.T. Sullivan, who's at the Algonquin on Tuesday evenings. Seth Bisson-Hirsch has his talent showcase, also Tuesday evenings. That's at Don't Tell Mamas, which is co-run by Richard Meyer, Sidney Meyer, Sidney Meyer, that Richard Holbrook spoke so highly of, and who is a friend of the Daverhood. Marcus Goldhaber is at room 623 in Harlem on Sunday nights. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano, you can see them at Birdland on Saturday evenings, whereas if you go to Birdland on Monday nights, you can see Vince Giordano and the Nighthawks, followed by Jim Caruso's Cast Party every Monday night at Birdland, birdlandjazz.com for tickets. Just a reminder to check stagebuggy.com for news about New York nightlife. Our friend Evan Seplow founded stagebuggy.com, and drdemento.com for archived hundreds of episodes of his classic radio show. Plus, he still makes new episodes every week, drdemento.com. Shout out to Vicky Quaddy. Go see her shows at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago, among them Late Night Catechism and Are You Smarter Than Your 8th Grade Nun? Let's see, want to give a shout out to who else? One more before we move on. How about, well, actually, we're not going to be doing a program next week. So let me throw in some other folks because we won't have the opportunity. Scott Siegel is doing Broadway The Next Generation at 54 Below. That is happening on August 17th, Wednesday. Next coming Wednesday, a week or so away. Steve Malio will be doing his Sinatra Style show at the Cutting Room, also on Wednesday, August 17th. Austin Pendleton, there we go, August 21st through the 3rd, directing Nancy Redman's A Seance with Mom. Steve Ross is going to be at the Algonquin with K.T. Sullivan. Wow. So a two-bagger there.
So cool.
That is happening on August 22nd. And then on August 25th, Nellie McKay is going to be at Le Poisson Rouge over on Bleecker Street. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Thank you, Loogie B. There we go.
That's so funny.
Ladies and gentlemen, so it is a little bit after noon, literally, here in the Daverhood. You've been watching the 907th episode of Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife Joyce, and all these great people we've had on the show. Pooey has not yet made an appearance. Where's Pooey? I know I had, oh, here he is. Pooey, kind of appropriate to bring him out because now it's time for the dreaded, the awful, the horrendous Colorado Limerick of the Damned. So this, we've had fun. I make silly jokes and a lot of puns and goof around a bit, but this is where you want to get the kids out of the room. This is where you're like, oh, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he wrote that. Actually, I had a joke like that earlier in the day. You, of course, didn't like it, but I think it's pretty funny. What is the last thing you saw of people in Maui who jumped into the ocean to escape the fire? Tiny bubbles.
David.
I know, that's
And
terrible.
Pooey's on the floor. You threw Pooey.
But he fell. I'll get him in a bit. But even Pooey doesn't want to be around for the Colorado Limerick of the Damned, where we're going to Brandon, Colorado. Nothing to do with our president. Brandon, Colorado. Because I make a poem about all these different places, towns, cities, little tiny hamlets, or Macbeths, if you will, since Joyce and I lived in Colorado for all those years. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Brandon, and then read a disgusting 5-line poem about it, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain, Colorado.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Colorado indeed. In this particular case, in this particular week, Brandon, Colorado, which is a tiny little town in southeastern Colorado in Kiowa County, population of 21 people living there, not counting the folks who passed through. In fact, the whole thing is only 1/3 of a square mile. Founded in 1887, and the following year they built a post office that was open until 1963. So even that's been closed for like 60 years. It's basically a ghost town. So I've written a poem about it. Ahem. Our Colorado Limerick of the Damned, Brandon, Colorado. The sex life of Brenda from Brandon is simply beyond understanding. With lines down her bed and cones by her head, she guides fellas in for a landing. Send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. You can also post messages on our Facebook page or right under each show or instant message me on Facebook. However you want to get in touch, please do. I don't get to necessarily respond to everyone, but I certainly read everything that comes in. Also, you're going to want to check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2, our Instagram page, David Lefkowitz, easy to find, and then also, oh my God, I didn't even tell how you can find archives of the program. So there's davesgoneby.com, which has every show, just about every show we've ever done from the very, very, very beginning. Plus, you can find our archives at archive.org, archive.org. That's a not-for-profit website that collects art and culture and literature from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years, either that they have permission for or that's in the public domain. We have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel. And so if you want to watch all our episodes or listen to, of course, we were on radio for the first 15, 16 years, it's all there, archive.org, including the separate archives of just the interviews that we've done on the show. Plus, we have our audio archives at castbox.fm, castbox.fm. So if you're out and about and on the go and can't watch the show, but you can listen, pass the time while you're sitting around waiting for something or driving, castbox.fm, where you can download the show as a podcast very quickly and simply. And then we have our YouTube channel, Dave's Gone By, with most of our archives, stuff that wasn't muted because of copyright. And that's what you need to know. You also need to know that I have a website called davelefkowitz.org that gathers together my plays, my interviews, written word stuff, my theater reviews, my song lyrics. It's all there, and I keep adding more as I have time to just, all the stuff that isn't Dave's Gone By, that I've worked on, that I've written, that I've put pen to paper or fingers to digital key things, you'll find at davelefkowitz.org. Please do check it out. If it's like I don't have any great dreams or hopes anymore of being on Broadway or of being a TV star or anything like that, but the fact that people will go and read a play of mine and enjoy it, and maybe put it on somewhere. Like this company a couple of years ago in India found my one-act comedy, Blind Date. They asked my permission. I told them, send me $10, I think they did. And then they put it on. And they did a wonderful job. So, you know what, if that's going to be my life, if people would discover my work just almost randomly by finding it on davelefkowitz.org, great! Let them. And you guys too. Anyway, anything that we need to mention or discuss or talk about or anything? No, I think we're good then.
I can't believe it. Check your watch to see maybe there's somebody in the waiting room.
No, but it was a pretty, aside from the fact that the classic moment, and this is
What's
sort of
the moment?
appropriate, where I was morning, or I don't remember if it was morning or evening, but I was working in my little office room at home here, and you were getting ready. It was the morning something,
Oh,
and I called you like, "Han, Joyce, Han," and you come in, and I want to show you the beauty of our backyard, and the fact that we have wildlife and nature. And there's a deer, this beautiful monochromatic brown deer
Yeah.
that I think we started seeing as a child when it was all speckled and spotted. And it's now there, and it is like out there in the yard. And I'm like, Han, come. And so you stumble in, you come in. And the moment you come into the room to look at the deer,
Oh, start peeing.
the deer turns, shows its ass, and starts peeing. And it just starts saying, I'm like, and you're like, oh, thank you, Dave. Thank you for sharing this with me. But at least it wasn't making, its ass a Pez dispenser like that other deer that literally started crapping while we were watching it.
What happens, David? People do it.
I know, but you figure Daddy could do under a bush.
Animals do it.
Mm.
Birds do it.
Mm.
In it.
Oh, you know what happened this morning?
What?
This is true. There were 2 bunnies on our lawn, in the back lawn, and they were pretty near each other.
Oh no.
So a smaller bunny, almost the same, but one was the front one was smaller, and a slightly larger one behind. This is true. And so they're doing it by nibbling the grass, and the bunny behind goes up, sniffs the other one's ass, and just scampers like 2 feet away.
Yeah.
So it comes up, sniffs her ass again, scampers 2 feet away. Sniffs her ass again, 2 feet away, and then finally the first bunny takes off the second one. It's like, the second bunny's like, fuck the foreplay. Let's go get on. And they dash into the other yard.
Oh.
But that was definitely, there's something going on there. I mean, I thought only dogs did
I don't know.
that.
Maybe you have to investigate.
I mean, we know bunnies do what bunnies do.
I assume.
But that was a moment. That was kind of like, okay, am I watching a courtship thing? I'm watching third date material here. It's like, no, I'm not. Yes, you what? No. Okay. And then zoom. Because the bunny could have taken off at any point to avoid the molestations of the bunny behind her. But she was kind of like, okay, oh, you want to say, okay, here it is. Okay, here it is. Okay, oh, you're not going to give up, are you? Oh, yeah, here it is. Oh, right. As long as we're finished by the time Judge Judy comes on. Come on.
Judge Judy. I didn't know rabbits like Judge Judy.
No, they do. They're rabid about it.
I'm very hungry, but I don't think their food's gonna be.
No, I told you food. If you put it in at 9:30.
Yeah, but it should be only 4 hours, right?
Yeah, it'll be 1:45 before it's done. Bread takes for fucking ever. Well, because you also make like the 2-pounder, so it's like 4.5 hours to be in the bread maker. That's what it is, to say the least.
Oh, it's 4 hours 10 minutes. 4:10.
Right, but from the time you started making it to the we can go check. But I'm telling you, probably better off doing something else for lunch, and having the bread as a snack, or if you're hungry, you're hungry. You have a 2-hour wait. I'm telling you. So there it goes. Anyway, you guys are going to have a 2-week wait for the next Dave's Gone By episode, because we're going to take the week off next week. We just need a little break to do some other stuff. But we should be back here in 2 weeks, in 2 Saturdays, for the 908th episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebook podcast program on the street. Until then, don't miss your Dave's going by. Stay cool and gone by. Come on.
Put it on the teeth thing.
Dave's gone by.